Hello, hello. Let's just see if everything's working okay. Looks like the mic is. Oh, we're going to be talking about a few things today. We have the drawings, which we're going to be doing. So I'm hoping that oh, Dandelion Light. Hi. Don't know if I know you. If I've never had a reading. If you've never had a reading before, let me know. I'll give you one. Hi, Angela. Hi, Crystal. Today we're going to have the drawings, but we're also going to be talking about, I want you to begin to see what manipulation looks like. You can't see what? Oh, someone says they can't see something. Um, Good Lord, I don't know what it is. On YouTube? I okay. With doctor account. So it says it's on. Okay, so a little bit of technical issue since I run one, two, three machines. Why don't I want to be seen? That is a big question. So all my life grew up in the family. All right, so I'm going to restart this one. I don't understand why it's not working. Means I have to close it off, start again. All my life, I've had to be around people that are manipulators. I didn't want to because my heart just is like, no, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. Um, so when I would be manipulated and by people, control dramas, tactics, maneuvers, I would my response was the environment was too much, too much. Thank you, Crystal. My environment was too much. And what did that mean? It would mean I would start to pull myself out of their life, pull myself out. So I'd make myself disappear. And I began to notice this pattern, um, you know, many years ago. And I'm like, but do I really want to disappear? Do I really want to disappear out of this world? Maybe out of their life, but I pulled so back so much. I pulled back so much that I started to fade away. My identity of my looks, my identity of my existence, and my body started to break down. And my eyebrows started to disappear. I'm not sure what's going on with my TikTok account here. It's not even picking up right. Hmm. So even though I can be seen some places, other places I can't. If that's it, so be it. Okay, now they can see me. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. Okay, so I finally decided that because I always had beautiful, lovely nails, and then my body started to really act weird. And you can tell after menopause and stuff, things change. It has nothing to do with the fact I don't want to get old. This is a privilege for me to age. This year really marks the year that so my mother died when she was 57. Okay, so this really marks the year for me is I'm going to live beyond that. So many people that I loved had died before their time. They never got to age. So to me, this is a major privilege. And as I start to get more self-esteem, more confidence, more of not being a program that is about manipulation or being manipulated or fear, I'm returning to love. Okay. As I begin to return to love, I was like, why don't I have beauty things? And it was because I was controlled by abusers, narcissists, and things. And so they would use their tactics and I would pull away. Um, when they did, and they used like fear or they use guilt or shame, those are the three things that you will can measure them by. And I would feel my responses. They were so knee-jerk responses, I didn't even have a clue that I did not know any way other than the way I was displaying about how to handle it. But as I began to heal, like allowing the innate wisdom, bringing the blood back into my forebrain, allowing myself to create my future, I started noticing as my spirit self going, did they just said that and what? Oh, it was just a feeling. Oh, nope, pull away. Nope, done. Nope. To the point where I would put all my stuff in, if they were complaining about my existence, let's say we're sharing a space, but they didn't like my stuff, all of a sudden you wouldn't see my stuff there. And when they would just sit there and badger and push and manipulate it to, so I become submissive, I started to fade away. I started to fade away. And I hadn't realized this when I was a little girl. You always look angry. Well, do you remember Brooke Shields? Okay, so that was my era. Excuse me, my fingers look like they're hanging out too much. And she had these bushy eyebrows. I hated them because, oh, you look like you got Brooke Shields eyebrows. Okay. And then I was told that, what, stop looking so angry. So when I was looking at myself when I was hurt, I looked angry. And when I had a resting face, I had a resting bitch face. And it was through time, spirit says, notice like when an animal needs to have camouflage while they're resting or just hanging out being themselves, they have to have a certain amount of camouflage so that they don't attract predators. I started noticing I had got an arrested development at a very young age, and I didn't learn any skills. It wasn't until I got older and into this profession about metaphysics that makes sense to me. Well, I've got pretty nails. It's okay to be a girl. It's okay to be a woman. So that you can understand that there'd been a lot of bashing about women and then pointing out, oh, this is a woman and it's just laugh at her and do this and that. And I've I want eyebrows now. I know it looks shocking to my eyes, but at the same time, I'm done fading away. You know, there's a song running in my head, but I don't remember the name of it. But it's like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm totally done. And then when I asked Spirit, I said, so come on, Spirit's got control of my camera. There we go. Something's getting my attention. Okay. So what does this mean? As I start to transform who I am, I remember when I was real thin and I put on weight. It was like I didn't want to be, I didn't want people to look at me and go, oh my God, she got fat. But then again, it's like it's happened. It's okay. Why do I have to hate myself? Why do I have to guilt myself? Why do I have to be in fear? Why do I have to be in shame? And I started noticing these three words constantly coming up: guilt, fear, and shame. And I'm like, wait a minute. My social skills is based on not wanting those three, or what? Well, if you've ever been guilted, immediately you will start to feel certain areas of your body begin to feel a certain way. Okay, so now all your meridians are, well, this is your behavior. This is how you memorized yourself. You felt guilty as a kid, and you thought about it and thought about what they said, and then the hurt, and the guilt, and all of the words that were supposed to be to manipulate you. It's not that you're falling for it. It's just that you don't mean to be gullible, but when you learn to love and trust somebody and they are using these tools, not as a full-blown narcissist, but tools as a parent, tools as this is what you see and pass down through family because they want their needs met. It boils down to they want their needs met. I learned to put other people first, and I always put myself last. I always did the right thing. I always, that's because my heart, I had very much compassion, okay, and empathy. And when you walk around with the trifecta of being a sensitive, not I'm sensitive, but a sensitive to frequencies, and then you're an empath that you immediately, boom, immediately you understand the full picture. Okay, kinesthetic. I feel these frequencies. So when as a kid, it felt more like a curse. Now it is this superpower I have. But it was when I began to do the Phoenix Rise where no, I don't want, I began to notice these personalities, how I was being shaped and how I was allowing it, accepting it, giving it my willpower because I believed. And then I had these values that I wanted to be a good person and I always wanted to do the right thing. And I wanted, all of this stuff, my needs. So I had quiet needs and then I would have needs, but I looked and I was like, I made the decision. I'm not going to be like that. That is cruel. That is mean. That is awful. But I never learned any other tools. So I would have alpha people come into my space because of the beliefs that from my family would say, nobody likes you. I'm your only friend, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't realize they were manipulating me. When I was in my 40s, a family member blatantly did it on the phone and it was like, boom, you can't unsee it. And I'm like, whoa, yeah, done. I gotta go. Bye. Click. Pretty much that's last time I talked to them. I did not feel that I needed to be, no, it's not going to work anymore. And they will begin to feel when their tactics don't work. Zale sent me a kookaburra. I know I probably said it wrong, but anyway, that's cute. Thank you. Okay, so old personalities. I'm not saying what personality you have is wrong. What I'm saying is it stuck? Has it grown? Has it grown with you? The needs have changed. So if you're growing and yet you have all of these old ways of being, you're going to be in conflict with yourself. The 3D rules is competition, conflict, comparison. And I have nothing wrong with competing. But when it causes you to create karma or make you feel like, oh God, I don't like that feeling of loss, or to not have any hope, then it's like, okay, I've been there. I understand. You won't even try anymore. So the 5D rule is where we're returning to love. And that means we are ready to have new rules. But in order to understand them, you have to understand the 3D rules. Anytime you had an experience, it was stored as an emotion that created sensations, that you've memorized it so much by thinking it over and over as your way of coping that because it was a negative state, oh my God, they said this because they did that. Oh God, I feel awful. Word again. And you memorize that over and over that the mind became the body and the mind is in the body and the body then has to morph itself into your beliefs, into your emotions. I've been asking, why am I sick? Why am I this? Why am I that? And the value was, I'm still seeing the results of, even though I value health, I didn't transform that total belief system. So we have conflicts, we have roots, we have things that are not integrated, and we really, really, really need to get integrated with that. I know, isn't that bird cute? Okay, they are so cute in real life and loud, and you can't help but to laugh when you hear them. I just don't want them near my house because then they'll, oh my God, it's small space, big voice. Okay, we're going to go to the board and talk more about the manipulation tools. But it's not just manipulation tools, it is the perspectives of the feels, the emotions of how you memorized. Oh my God, this is how I got to cope, and this is how I am. This is the way it is. And you're hurt, you're hurt, you're hurt. And now you're programming yourself to be hurt, which then sends the signal out so that other people can make you feel that way again. Not because they're bad people, but it is because this is how you've memorized yourself. Healing helps you change how you've memorized yourself, changes how you are having that old personality. You're ready to start to grow. You're ready to become a phoenix and let it rise. That's what we're going to do. I forgot to check the camera to see if it actually going to work. So bear with the adjustments because we're going to see who has won today. We're going to see who has won today. It's not too bad. What is going on here, though? Oh, you know, this is what I don't like, is that as soon as you fix it with the camera, the settings, and if you shut down, it doesn't keep the settings. There's no, oh, those bunny slippers. No rabbits. Zale is earning his right to be into the next month. That's funny. Okay. Oh, stand up. That's what I need to do. I'm like, what's missing? Me. I got to add me to the picture. So that's what I want you to do instead of fade away, instead of running. You don't want to fight, but you can. You don't want to be in flight mode. You don't want to be in fight, flight, freeze. Freeze is a terrible thing because when you get abused over and over and over, your brain shape that's supposed to be healthy shapes. And so the brain keeps telling the body the same story. Now it's your job to change the energy, change the shape of your brain, change the shape. And well, the biggest thing is when you're with abusers, emotional, mental abusers, your amygdala enlarges and your hippocamp shrinks. And this is where PTSD and many other things, and I'm here to help you understand we can change this. So, what do we have here? So for Piffs, no surprise here, she doesn't have any competition really. And everybody, I notice, picks their favorite and then sticks with it because there really is no competition out there. This is why you're going to see people's names. Seems like they're winning every month, but that's because what happens. Now, Bring a Friend ends up being Autumn. Okay, Coins is Zale. We have Mentions, that is Linda Love. And Expedites is April Lynn. Reels. Now, this is when you make comments, okay? So the Reels, I got somebody new. Trippy Max. The videos, I got Crystal Allen. There are your winners. Ayme, if you don't like seeing people's names up here all the time and you want yours up here, we chances are you could win. No, I love each and every one of these people. The devotion on healing themselves, the devotion on doing, making this movement grow. I love each and every one of you. And I appreciate it so much so that what do you win? I don't, you know, my ego wants to go, well, I ain't much of a prize. Nobody seems to want it. I'm like, shut up. Apparently I need to heal you. That is a program. But come on my show for a chance to get a reading, get a healing, get something that's going to help you grow. Okay. So, Ayme could take a nice shot. Congratulations, winners. So we have all of these wonderful people that have won. And we have Ayme, April Lynn, Linda, Trippy Max, Crystal Allen, Autumn, and Zale. You have until the end of July to come on. You've got twice a week to figure out. So you got 8 chances to figure out. You can come on today. You can come on next week, whatever you want. But I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Now let's go on to the next. We have been looking and studying, and it's going to take some time. This is where we actually have a course. Okay. One of the things that's really saved my life has been about waking up to my personality and not shaming and guilting, but to wake up in my personality and say, do I want that? How do you change that? So asking the question. Not only did I do that and then Spirit answered, I came into understanding psychology. It's like, if you want to really learn how to change and have great social skills and all of this, there needs to be not about right and wrong, but it's about growing out of certain things. So we used to in the 3D world, so we have different rules. So we don't go back into, I was going to do that letter transposed again. 3D, there's no shame. This is how we grew. Going into 5D, which is more about consciousness and love, as we're returning to love. We have been learning with MWS Glossary about personal power, which is life force, okay? But in the real world, where you have just the human, personal power is to take your personal power and influence others to persuade them to get what you want or whatever it is. But people have been doing it to the max because they have needs. Now, needs is going to be that thing that is goes between 3D and 5D. So everybody still has needs. Look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs and your needs. Your needs need to be met. Now, we have with all of these particular manipulating tools causes people not to go inside. So this is outside and this is inside. Now, people that are going into, we talked about what makes us spiritual and kind of like how to become a sigma versus alpha or beta. We don't want that. Sigma is what we want, but it's our needs. And we're driven by those needs. We were taught by those manipulations that the outside is supposed to supply it. You were finding more that the 5D is about self-care without shame. Finding your identity minus everybody else's influence. As you do that, you will also begin to see the programs. These people in 3D had a lot to do with if they could create conflict, they can have joy out of your misery. And I had a German word for it, but I can't remember how to pronounce it. So, using it. We have competition. Again, there can be wonderful, fun things about competition, but when you put it in the hands of somebody that manipulates, it just is like, it's like the apple that spoiled the whole bunch, right? And when you lose, you're supposed to, nobody's ever taught you how to use your body or to move energy to help you understand how not to be a sore loser or to have it in so much pain or invest that, oh my God, I'm going to win. But in the 5D, it's about we can all, there's enough space in this world that we all can do this. But this is where it gets confusing because everybody wins, everybody wins. And then that takes out the motivation and the strive. Well, if everybody's going to win, what's the point of playing? So it went to the opposite effect. As we went to the opposite effect, everybody wins. Nobody understands what to really go for. So we're learning, we're looking for the wisdom. The conflict, I know in 5D, don't need it. It's an option. Suffering is an option. And I don't need conflict. And people say, well, you need conflict so you can know how to, how to grow, how to be, or have a great life, how to have, it'd be boring if it's just all about love. Well, obviously you know what love feels like because you wouldn't have said that. So I would use contrast. Contrast. Why would I need contrast? And that is, if you did not see the contrast, you wouldn't understand to see that word on this board. It's black on white. You wouldn't know. Color can change you. Contrast, noticing the eyebrows, hair, everything. And it's always amazing when you have a, what do you call it, makeover, or you clean your house and you're like, gee, I didn't know my house could look that clean, or a fresh coat of paint. Sometimes the contrast in emotions, the contrast in feelings, the contrast in words. I was always in fear mode that didn't allow me to see the contrast. So I was only stuck in a particular part. By waking up my heart and healing, what am I healing? In order to understand, instead of the separation, okay, the other thing is that this is separated. And we have needs, but it's separated. But you need to separate yourself, but at the same time, you need to integrate and get the wisdom. But separation is actually a lie. Keep them dumb. Keep them, and we'll talk more about the manipulation tools in a minute. But you have comparison. How many parenting skills you want that child to do better? Well, look how Jimmy's doing it. Okay? You're throwing your frustration and you're like, child has irrational thinking because it's not old enough to have the cognitive ability to think differently. And so it grows up with this, I need approval, I'm doing it wrong, it must be my fault. And when people come to me, I'll say, how do you know that? Give me a scale from 0 to 10. And they'll say, it's a 10. I have all these memories as if it just happened. And I said, let's just use the body to break down the emotional chemical peptide and get the brain to become clear to send the healthy signals to the body and to life. So we can look at things differently. We have to understand that personal life force power is how you use your life force to invest in the joys, the creating the future, working with synchronicities. Instead of forcing, you have the power to do so. But we forgot this. So we use personal power to influence ourselves that we're a bad person. We use our personal power to look out there and I have to have street smarts. I have to do this. I have to manipulate. I got to survive. So when you are more in that, you are more into your mindset is in survival. But if you don't understand survival, it can also be victim. And there's nothing wrong with these. It's just that it's created a separated dynamics. There's always this power control, not healthy power control. So when MWS, that's Medicine Woman Solution, starts talking about personal life force power, the first time that I said it, even though I said life force, all one person could hear was that I said personal power. Their definition of personal power was, I don't want to manipulate anybody. I said, but no, they couldn't hear what I was saying. So they thought I was being an evil person and I was trying to teach them tactics to hurt. And I'm like, no, I want you just to understand that this is a spiritual personal life force power where you're spirit, you're not just human. And the life force is what you're investing in. Do you need to do the push-pull game? And do you need to give your power away? Do you need to take other people's power? 3D is all about karma. And this is the healer's journey or hero's journey. Now we want to transform the hero's journey to the healer's journey. And this is where I'm going to be me. I'm going to understand. I'm going to choose. And I'm going to not give my power away anymore. I'm going to learn how to create. This is about creating. This is about forcing. This is about taking what somebody already has and molding it to what you think it should be. Over here is where you're creating a new world. And you're creating not just a new world, but you're also creating the matrix, a new matrix. And what happens? You, instead of fighting the system, you build a new world. Instead of standing up for the people's rights and fighting, which those are all important that we need to do, but you also create a new world. So you need to allow. So this is about empowerment. This is about enlightenment. This is about love. This is about, and the biggest one that this one does, which I can't fit on here, and is, we'll just take off here the needs because it's already there. And one of the things is the and respect. This is where everybody can create with what they want, with their definitions, with what they want. This one is basically you either have to gain it, but you're seeking, or you're forcing. Okay. And do you want to live that way anymore? So if you don't like your world, you may think it's great and there's nothing else you can do about it. There is. As you start to learn new rules, new things, new way of being, I don't need to manipulate anymore. I don't need to be manipulated. I don't need to use these control dramas to get what I wanted. I'm going to learn how to manifest with the universe, how to be in synchronicities, how to do this, how to vision reality. I'm done. Now, once you see it, keep them dumb was the biggest thing. Keep them dumb. Keep them in fear, keep them in shame, keep them in guilt. If you do that, you could be alpha. You can show entitlement. You can get people to go, oh, they're weak, so therefore they want to come over for you. And then you can have all the minions you want. But the moment that they started to learn, read, to be done with, had enough of, that's when the fight began. The fight back. And that's where all of a sudden you see growth. And you see that it's happening. But what here, it's about you. If I'm seeing it, if I'm feeling it, if I understand, we don't need to ignore it anymore. So if I can feel and resonate how somebody is being abused, and it's like, oh, that tells me I have a root open that needs to be healed. Now, if I heal that inside of me, it's a 10 and I'm holding, and all of a sudden the energy shift out of my cells and the emotional chemical peptides unlock and the cell calms down, then what's going to happen is that I'm changing my inner world, because my inner world creates my outer world, and any program that's inside, I've got to see. So if I don't want to see abuse anymore, I'm going to, 1, am I abusing? I'm going to learn about it. 2, am I receiving the abuse? Am I stuck in a knee-jerk reaction? I'm not going to shame or guilt myself or use fear tactics. I'm going to heal. I'm going to use my personal life force power to tell myself something different. But you can't just talk about it. You can't just overcome it. You can't just suppress it. You can't just, why? Because the root's there, and that goes, dun, 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 pop goes the weasel. Yeah. When that pops, that scares the shit out of you. And oh my God. Okay. You're done. So when you start to change the inside, those sensations, those feelings, when somebody's yelling at you, you're like, oh, how do you know that? What number is that? It's a 10. What's the response? I want to run away. Okay, what number is that? Oh, it's a 10. And when you sit there and you hold and you heal and you change that whole way, the community, your 50 trillion cells that make up you, you change it to get clarity. you're not going to fall for it again. But if you keep falling for it, you're not recognizing that that's you. Wait a minute, that's my identity? Fear thought it was helping you to memorize it so that you don't have to have it happen again. But what it's doing is making you sick. It's changing your cells, it's changing your DNA. And you're like, oh, so when you start to heal that it hurts, a knee jerk reaction, you start to heal the brain. You start to move the energy. You start to get awareness. And awareness is your biggest key as a spiritual being. So you can really be living more in the 5D, being more present. And even though you'll see people that don't know how to get in touch with their soul, will go, yeah, I'm being my authentic self. You're ugly. You can't take the truth. That's on you. Now, again, that's not authenticity, not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. There's no and respect. Okay. There's no empathy. There's no heart. That annoys me. Oh, how do you know? And why do you call it classified as ugly? It's because when I was a kid, I wouldn't be caught dead in it. Ah, so now you're controlled by your programs. And why do you need, who taught you that? So you have to unpack your emotional shit. And that's what I want to do is I want to unpack these emotional baggages with you. I want to help you heal. Okay. What is your comments here? What do what do you think so far? Paraphrase. You want the new rules? What stood out? Because I've been talking about these things. And I need you to begin to see these things. Because if you don't see these things, you're going to constantly fall for these things. Okay, let's dig deeper now. So, knowing that the reason that we have to study it is by with education. Now, ego, if you're not being spiritual, you're gonna go, oh my God, you're gonna profile. You're like, you're all over that. No, that's not healing. You need to go and take out the markers so you can get out of the revenge and you get out of that victimhood, get out of the blaming, get out of that, because that you need to take your healing to the next level. You need to take your healing to the next level. Okay, so when you are hearing me talk, there is a standard, it's a general standard, meaning this is the benchmark. Okay, it's a benchmark. And what that means is that there's going to be a whole variety. So when I'm looking at the energy, there's going to be all of these variables above your head. So now you have what's called all these variables. And these variables are perspectives, which means they're all right and they're all wrong, meaning they energetically move. So when you hear of a narcissist and you have one trait out of the 20, does that mean you're a narcissist? No, because you probably have a heart and some compassion. It's just that you did not see how the programs of your youth. So we want to unpack these emotional baggage, unlearn these things that you need, that you no longer need. Because if you think that that's what you need to get forward in life, then you have poor social skills. So we're also here not to take care of the emotional baggage, but to teach you new social skills. But basically, this is all based on love. And it's the feeling, it's a state. So let me get into the right, blah, blah, blah. Yep, that's me. What I want. So one of the old skills that manipulation is flattery. Now, when you think of flattery coming from somebody that does not have a heart or that believes that the only way they get their needs met is to hurt somebody. Okay, because that's what they watched, right? But let's talk about flattery. When you are looking at manipulation, okay? When you are looking at manipulation, under the controlled dramas, you want control constantly. You can't see anything other than a drama. And when a person has certain life and characteristics, that's fine. But it's only when the controlled dramas are married with manipulation. And when they are married with manipulation, then it's all about seeking the needs. And the biggest need is fulfilling that particular outcome. Now, this is where this is more of a childlike state where they had only grown to a certain point and they throw tantrums to get what they want. They want a particular outcome. All children, the first time that their mom walks out the door, love is going. Oh my God, you don't know how to cope, handle, and deal with that. I want a particular outcome. And you'll cry and cry, you'll figure it out, you'll get mad, you go through all these different stages, and to no avail, it didn't happen. Therefore, you are a child will usually say, okay, I failed, it didn't happen. And so then there's no faith, there's no love, and there's nothing. And so they stay in that defeated position. Now, some will actually get their needs met. They scream long enough, they get their pacifier back, they want what somebody else has, and so they'll begin to use certain things. Now, if they look at you and they notice that you can be controlled by three things. One, fear, so they got to feel you out. Two, shame. And three, guilt. Now, we need to nip these babies in the bud. Okay, the first one, these are a whole bunch of points for these, but when you begin to notice, and we'll probably talk about that in tribal tomorrow, and we'll give you some healing tools to start working with these so that we can measure it, start healing it out, and changing it. So if they know that you can be controlled by one of these, they also have to begin to be cunning, manipulation, tactics. So they have to like play the long game to some degree. So flattery, okay, so you want to stroke the ego of that person, make them feel good. Now, this is where it gets very confusing because when someone genuinely should be getting a compliment, it feels good. But when somebody is using a tactic to give you flattery, they're going to use you. So they've learned, but they learned how to twist it so that they can get what they want. But that doesn't mean all flattery is bad. So they will stroke the ego. They will begin to butter them up. Okay. And they will, they want to get them in a good mood, right? So in this, if you get them in a good mood, then you can get your request. Because this happens like creating you to create that chemical peptide, that hormone, that trust, the oxytocin, that trust chemical, so that you will do it. A lot of big places and businesses and things like this will have seminars where they'll get the music going and this and that, get your brain. And I mean, it's a beautiful show, but sometimes they have to get you to trust them, that trust hormone. So they'll use certain tactics. You know, you'll go to church, you'll go to seminars, you go to places, they get you all revved up and you're there for support, but it's a false support. You're genuine, but the hormone, so they put you in a good mood and then they can request. Then you're going to just be easily saying yes because you won't be able to think your way anything other than what that chemical peptide's doing. So they will look at first your insecurities. So who has had experiences with this? Let's talk and share. Let's communicate. Who has Um, because again, don't get confused when you have true people that have come along and share information with you, like, oh my God, because they adore you, they love you. So it doesn't always mean that it's fault. Um, let's see. So I think Autumn has Katrina got a reading before, I think. If she has, okay, great. If not, and she put her name in the PIF, but if she has, I think she has. If not, I can get a free reading. But let's talk. I don't want to just be feeling like I'm alone here. Let's just communicate. I don't want to go too fast. Now, these are courses, these are things that I like to do. So here we go. Flattery. No, I'm not asking you to shame yourself. All right, I have, okay. I'm not asking you to shame yourself. If you're shaming yourself, we can heal that. And we can pull out those emotions out of your body so that you can grow. I'm not here to create low self-esteem. I'm here to help you. Holy shit, this is what's happening. I don't want this old program. Enough's enough. I'm going to heal this. Hashtag I can heal this. Hashtag resolve to evolve. Hashtag heal instead of deal. And you're going to start moving yourself more into a spiritual being, and you're going to be using your life force for love instead of creating undue karma. But so people will take and look at the insecurities and provide reassurance. Okay, reassurance they need for a better effect. So this is like, what is this called? Prop of whatever. Yes, I have had a. Okay, so you've had. Is there anybody here in the room? I can't tell. I think there's 15. Everybody do some thumbs up. Let me just see. If you've not subscribed, subscribe. Get notified to know when my show is on. You know, what's hard is doing these because you're not sure if anybody's actually there listening. Um, and I used to have problems with that. I used to feel very insecure and I could feel these feelings until I said, oh my God, that feeling, because a part of me wanted to take a response and say, I'm just going to quit. And then the personal life force power of how I would persuade myself into convincing myself that the right thing to do is to just fade away. But all that needs to be paid attention to. It all can be measured. It all can be, once you do, all of a sudden you're like, well, I don't really want that. So I'm beginning to see these patterns, not to shame myself, but to decide, do I really want that? So me, I want to teach people how to be Sigma. Okay. And I don't want you to have to, so if you want an outcome, I don't want you to have to do with your ego. I want you to move into your spirit so that you can work with synchronicities to get your need met. There is a difference. So you experience that in Thailand, trying to manipulate us to go back to the event to buy. Absolutely. That was a huge one for me too, Nichole. The biggest tactic that I have when I go on vacations in certain countries, not all, is where they will tell you already what they want. They don't take no for an answer. They push energy. They literally will touch you. They will shove things in your face. They will get you to divide and conquer. And before you know it, you're sitting in the restaurant. Well, what the? And you know, and a lot of it is that play dumb. Yeah, you come in. Yeah. They don't say that, but they ignore what you say and they keep going. So there's different ways of making it work for you if you were in that particular thing. So again, I've had people, oh, you look so pretty, and let's fix your eyebrows. Let's see. Um, You're listening. All right, wonderful. Thank you, Miss April Lynn. You won, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. Your name is there. Never. Okay, so someone says, never say I can't. Say I can. I have health issues and have physical disabilities, and I learn my way around. Then find my own way of doing tasks is frustrating or difficult to do. But here's the thing. I used to have feel that to some degree, not to her degree. So I'm not trying to say anything other than, but what it is that I've learned to go, yeah, I can. Well, I just look to spirit and say, yes, I may feel I can't. Spirit will say, all right, OMG, EFT, success, whatever, measure it and then release that. So the energy of thank you, spirit, all of a sudden options will appear that I never saw the answers before. So I don't have to go, I can. My head's clear, everything, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, never thought of those. Now all of a sudden this energy of I can. It's not I can, it's all right, get out of the way, I'm doing it. So I've transformed that as well. I had to used to always say I can because everybody was like, no, you can't. And I'm like, get out of my way. Yes, I can. But I had to prove something. And it's like, no, I had to heal that. I had to measure that. I had to get rid of that. They would not go away for 2 hours. We ended up having to be rude to get rid of them. Now, that is the one social skill that I had to learn too, which blew me away, was that I actually had to be rude. And I'm like, is it in me? And I realized that I wouldn't allow myself to be rude. And so I began to heal that. And when I was rude, I would have somebody sit there and gaslight me and to saying, oh, that's wrong. You can't do that. And it's like they're not trying to gaslight me. But what it happened was they felt uncomfortable because I was rude. But what I also discovered on that many trips that I've done or wherever I've been was I'm done putting myself last. But I also don't have to be like the people I saw, which was demand, have that, what do you call it? They make a scene, they're entitled, and I'm going to get what I want by telling them how much I hate it. Now, there is a discreet way. Like in the past, I got served something that was raw fish, and and they're telling me just eat it, shut up, don't rock the boat. And that was the biggest thing in my life. Well, I got sick. When we went back to the same restaurant, I got another thing and it came back not cooked right. And I'm like, why do we keep coming here? Because it was their favorite place. So I wasn't going to say anything because they gave me that look like, don't you dare. And then the person that came with us, hey, I noticed that her food's not cooked. Is it supposed to be cooked all the way? Oh my God, yeah, it is. Oh, sorry. I'm so glad you said something. It was just the way they communicated. So it's not that we have to shut up or be forceful. There is an in between. There are all the shades of gray. So I would constantly get flattered. I constantly get flattered, to make me feel good. And then the dang request. And I didn't say yes. And so then they would move on to other things. So they're feeling me out. And like, for instance, they made, as I started to really heal out people out of my life and I couldn't do anything and I was stuck in that position for days, I got to see all of these different maneuvers and tactics. One of them was favor or a gift. Now, at this point, I already said to this person, no, I'm done. I'm out of here. And they're like, remember the time, or the gift and the favor is give favors and gifts. So down the road, they owe me, right? So one of the things that I would see was that they would buy me little things. And then they would give them to me. And when I didn't, so this is like you can find on dating, you can find this between just friendships. So it's not about gender. It's like what would we seen? So when I would didn't show up the way they expected, everybody else is always done for them, then all of a sudden I was the bad person. But I didn't realize, because of the language difference, that what they were doing was that they had expected me every time they gave me a flower, or every time they bought me a snack, or every time that they had that you owe me attitude. And when I did not deliver, then it got kind of nasty. And then the talk. Well, look what I've done for you. You've done nothing for me. So everything has a phrases, and I'm hoping to expand on putting more phrases. Right now, we just kind of want to be looking at the little bit of a maneuvers, manipulation maneuvers that goes with the control dramas. And if you haven't watched last week's control dramas, so I could expand on those too. But you get in this a little bit. If you want to learn more, you want to do the healings with us, join Tribe. Now, fault. Oops. Learn how to spell, right? Let's try this again. Faults. Now, this is where I would fall. Used to. False intimacy. Now, did I spell that wrong? Forgot the N. And this one here is into me, I see, in the 5D world when I started to grow, but pretend to be interested in everything I am. This is a match and mirroring that we normally would do when you're really in sync. But if you aren't really in sync with this person but you want something because you want to control it, then you'll like in everything they do. And they'll have the same hobbies, the same music. And this is what we were taught as, hey, be false in the relationship so that when they like you, they'll fall in love with you. How many movies have you seen that did that? They actually finally started to realize that, why don't you just be real? Why do you have to be something other? Why do you have to use this tool to get them to like you? And then hopefully when your true self comes out, that they'll be in love with you. I have watched from many angles that call me courting. I'm going to give you all these things. And I'm a great person. I'm a great person. And then all of a sudden, soon as you marry them, the ring gets on the finger, it is the true colors come out. I don't like who you are. I'm going to change you. Or true colors come out. Screw it. You're stuck with me. So every time I go to do this, there's nothing you can do about it. And that one. So these are all like a lot of 3D stuff. But it's not just this, not feels good that we have a lot in common, because falling in love is that you have a lot in common, but it needs to be real. And when this comes in, it kind of makes you feel like you don't want love. You're like, screw it. I don't want you to take your pictures and go home. I want you to not feel like this has to be a battle. I want you to heal out the feelings, the emotions, those things. My family would always shut me down when I tried to argue and say, you were the kid, you're the one kid in the adult, and you were wrong. You know what's funny is that like, for instance, there's healthy conflict or healthy contrast when it comes to actually communicating your needs, and the other person communicates their needs. But a person needs you broken, they will, especially the narcissists, will keep you broken, and it's your fault that they feel this way. And and it's just dysfunction. Instead of talking about it, they'll sweep it on the rug. Instead of having a healthy contrast of communication, they will make sure that the pain's there, and they will start gathering minions. So when you start to do this, and they shut you down because they wanted to be in power. yeah, you're the kid and I'm the adult. When you start pointing out their flaws, they're going to come in harder, when they're going to come in really hard, and it becomes the right and wrong. Like one of the things that MWS teaches is relationships, is that if that is ooh, hold on, where's my phone? They would just fix this. Okay. So, what was I saying? Oh, like, so when, no, I don't remember, except for maybe, like, if anything, let's say my husband and I are in a contrast, we're not dysfunctional. So we'll look at each other and go, "Whoops, stop, we're out of sync. We're going to go heal out the physical emotions and sensations where I got to self-justify, I got to fight to win, I got to," so we'll, oh, they're not listening. Because once we start going a little bit further and putting in the phrases, it'll start making more sense of where it falls. And you'll want to, you can clearly see that they have not grown out of their old arrested developments, but they're standing there as adult, and they're trying, using social skills. Okay. And so, fake secrets. Oh my God. If you can keep a secret, well, you know, so you can build trust. There's real building trust, and then there's fake trust. So I have a client, and to build trust, I'm like, okay, to make you feel better and you're ready to heal, remember you're in charge, what can we do? Well, I want to know about you. All right. So I will tell them. And if they feel more better, then I will say, okay, this is how you can decide how you want this healing. Okay, you need this pain for this. You need, that's fine, but you want the feeling to stop. I'm going to, so I will take little tactics, and I will say, okay, my tools and methods, and say, okay, here's this. You go ahead and give it a shot. And if it starts to feel like you don't want to give it up, stop. So I had one that was going like this. Oh my God, it's changing for the better. And all of a sudden, a thing came in their mind was, but you need it. They stop. Oh, the number won't go down. And I go like, honey, that's okay. We don't rip off safety blankets. We go through the back door, which means we give that child trust. So you now are going to teach your inner children to trust you, and not the fear, not the shame, not the guilt. So we can tailor make a session to the point where all of a sudden, and then I watch them and I watch them, and all of a sudden they feel more and more comfortable. And so then I will say, okay, let me give you the next tool. And when they do, they start to build that trust with themselves that they never got a chance to. And building trust, and if a manipulator knows this, a control drama person knows that you have to build trust, they will do whatever it is to build trust, so that once they get you, give you that energy, then they can feed off it, but they can also control it. And I say, no more. Yep, that's my husband. Access. Yeah. Okay, good. You see it. Now, doesn't mean we have to be ashamed of it. Just means that we can take the physical sensations, the emotions, the guilt, fear, and shames, all of that. I had to heal. This is what I refer to as healing out love. I know that sounds strange, but my heart was like, oh, I really like them. I want to bond with them. And then they would do me dirty. I'm like, why did it happen again? And it was because, and I noticed the snapshots. And the snapshot in this case is how my heart goes, oh, is excited. There's love. And then as I began to heal that out of my heart, and then the next time they did it, my heart goes, oh, and then I could see they were more of a program. So I didn't have to feel bad. I didn't have to fall for it. So I began to heal deeper into myself. I was like, wow, I'm really happy with this. And I'm learning how to return to love, not go outside to get love or be pushed by love, because that's not love. That's karma love. That's not, no, I don't need that anymore. So the building of trust a little bit further on this is that you share bonding. So if I tell you something about myself and you're like, that was intimate. Okay, I will tell you something about myself. And the whole time about with a manipulator is that they're gathering evidence to see where your weakness is so they know how to exploit you. That was always the hardest one for me because it was like, I'm not going to tell you anything because you're just going to use it against me. And I would hear myself say that over and over and over and over. And but then my younger part was like, nope, I don't know how to make friends. Nope, nobody likes me. And then I have these other ages that are coming up going, okay, if they come up to me, then they like me. But and I would always attract alphas that would be mean to me, or they would be nice to me until they got what they wanted. And then when they couldn't control me, that's when I'll go down. So they tell us what we want to hear. They make our heart go, oh, the possibility. Oh, we're bonding. Oh, this is where, again, I would say I would have to have you heal that snapshot of love because that's karma love. So but once you do, it doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you love, you move into the and respect, but you give it to people. So this is displaced loyalty when you give your loyalty to someone that's controlling you. You heal these different stages. You can have healthier boundaries. Instead of forcing one, you're just like, yeah, I'm done. Here's my boundary. You can't cross it. Not letting you back in. I don't care how sweet and cute and you bat your eyes or whatever. It won't happen. As I'm done. That's why coming to that enough's enough stage. But it's not about fighting back. It's not about uh, covering up, emotionally suppressing. It's about resolving yourself into a unique way. And that's emotions, the sensations, the feelings. And once you do, your mind becomes clear and you're not that old, but you have this new clarity with wisdom and you begin to see it happen and you can't now unsee it. And you're like, it's a choice point. Choice points in your life. Do I want to participate? Do I want to accept, give away my willpower and believe this? Am I fearful? What are you doing? So all of these things. So once you heal it, like I can never be mean, I could never be rude, but people could be rude to me. And it's like, I thought that was a great virtue, but I noticed it was controlled by fear. But I couldn't stand up for myself. So when I began to heal these, especially the pain of, I can't, I ended up moving through, I could see them and I'm like, yeah, ain't gonna happen. And then walk away. There's a different energy that happens where they're like, oh, okay, screw you. Go find the next one. They got a need, they got a feed. And when you don't play, you don't have to go, oh no, I lost another friend. No, they'll be right back with a different tactic. The most dangerous person out there is one that loves themselves, follows with love, has respect, has that cup of peace, because we don't need you. You need us. And if you come and you're in my space and we have equal exchange energy of love, no problem. But my boundary's in place. The moment that there is this intention, because intention is everything, is that the intention, don't forget the big word when it comes to these people, is their intention. And that love can force us to not see their intention. We think their flattery is about, or they bias things. This is all saying they love me, right? Why would they hurt me? We get stuck in the pain of why did it go wrong? Why? And they can just go off because they're done with you. But if you heal those sensations and those feelings, it's not everybody, because when you are not healing those sensations and those emotions, you're not healing, then anybody that comes up to you and flatters you, what do you want? It's my skill. And you're like, nothing. And just walk away. You're telling the universe, don't show me that I'm beautiful. Don't tell me. Because all I do is believe in fear. I don't want you to operate in fear. I want you to operate in love. But I don't want love to be the problem. That's ego love. That's karma love. We're done with that. Okay. Everybody paraphrase what you've learned, what stood out. And now when you're going, oh my God, that resonates, measure it. How do you know? Now you can use a tool. You can use EFT, OMG, or, pay for a mini, a chat, or come on to the show. Let's get that thing out of there. Let's change how that memorized emotion got stuck in you and becomes now a beacon for everybody to do it to you. Want to change those foundations. Okay. All right. That's enough of that for today. And we will go on to doing the show. Oops. Ow. Okay. Let's shut. Oh, before I shut that, let's get the right camera, eh? Get to the right camera. Now we are 11, 11, 2, 2, 11, 12. That's funny. Sorry, just saw a whole bunch of. Yep, I'm in sync. I'm in sync. Yes, thank you, Spirit. Now, again, why paraphrase? Why? Because if you really want to not be screwed over, you got to have the knowledge and get into you and heal it. Not to stay in your pains, not to be controlled by it, but allow yourself to move. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me get my right thing. We have 3 piffs on the board. Oh, where did I write them? And then we have somebody that's paid. So we have 2 minis for a cat and a dog. Autumn has paid that there's this information. And my pen's not working. The video is Ayme. If anybody else wants a video, don't just think it's about me and Ayme. Get in here. Get serious. Invest in yourself. That's why I'm here. This is why I took it out of my office. I'm here. And so we're going to start collecting names for piffs. And we see already there is Nichole and Johnson. And now the chat, 1, 2, 3 piffs. Let me open up the emails. Angela says she'd like to have her name into the piff. Zale said he wants to come on today. Awesome. All right. So as far as their the free videos, we have Zale and Autumn. I should have looked at my list. Where is it? Oh, right there in front of me. So Zale said he wants to come on, and Autumn, where's she at? Said she'd come on. All right, we can do that. So I got Ayme, Zale, and Autumn. People that wants to be in a piff, they have Nichole and Angela. Crystal Babe, are you there? Normally you want one. Let's look over here. Okay. Okay. That's good. We're going to have a nice jam-packed show today. Excellent, excellent. Ooh, that's working. Recentering myself just a little bit here. We're going to go on to, there's Crystal. Now, I'm not sure what the energy is. It's really bizarre because I want to move forward, but something is, well, if you're in the room, make sure you hit the thumbs up. I'm going to go do that now. No, I mean, I'm number 11. 11, 11, 2, 2. It's July. This is our birthday month, those that are born in July. Do you celebrate whole month? Well, I celebrate the fact I'm alive every day, but to actually celebrate, it has changed over time. So I have to learn to receive love but not in that way. Zale is July 4th, so there's a birthday boy. I'm July 23rd. And what is April Lynn's? She's a birthday girl too. We're really close in age, and dates. So happy birthday to all the people in July. And why am I choosing that? And because it's my birthday month, and other times I don't remember it. The 25th is, oh, it was Williams, your nephew Williams. Happy birthday on the other side. What else do we got? Okay. And did you ever fall in love with your number the day you were born? I love number 23. I love I love it. It's weird how you do. I love the year I was born. That number, not the 19, but the number. And there's something about feeling alive. It's not, as a kid, it was like, oh, I want presents and that people are going to celebrate me, make me feel good. But now for me, it's like, hallelujah. I'm I have the privilege where other people in my life haven't. And I am so ready. Oh, those are great numbers. June 5th, 1965, 6565. That's awesome. I love that. I love it. So, my mom's is July 17th. My mom's was 7 days. We're born exactly 7 days apart, 30 years, 7 days apart. So 30 years difference, just like how me and my daughter. But and me and my mother were 7 days apart. So I'm the 23rd, she was the 30th. My daughter is 2 days before me. And I thought that was kind of bizarre, but yet unique. Unique. Very unique. All right. We don't have any chats, but we do have collecting names for the PIFs. But we do have people that have paid. So Coco and Haize is a cat and a dog, and Miss Autumn has paid for that. And you're just going to jump right into that. That's what I was looking for, was the starting point. But I was waiting for something in particular, and I, again, not sure what that was. When I look at, like, why does Coco, the dog, eat cat poo? And, when you are looking at this, and it's not about, well, it boils down to, yes. So one thing I feel about Coco is it's new. It's new. It's going to sound weird, but it's new. It's like, um, oh my God, I don't know how to explain this, but inside my throat, it was like all of a sudden there was all this mucus and something that happened. And what I'm feeling is this dog was like, is in my territory. It's something new. I'm getting used to that smell. And you may think it's disgusting, but the dog is like, ooh. So it's just like it. So it's like I like it. But I feel like it's also um I don't want to say there's a certain amount of dominancy. Okay. But there's this feeling of, I don't know why the dog feels this. I just feel like, okay, so dogs are about masters. Who's in charge? Who, if I'm going to be alpha dog, but if I don't see one, I'll become one. But if I have an alpha dog, I'll do it. But part of it is by eating who, it is the sense of not just I like it, but a sense of I, sounds so weird, like quiet. Yeah, you would like it to get her stopped, so you would have to find some tools and techniques. Normally, Thor would be here. She would be your expert, or look it up. But as I'm looking at the energies of Coco, and Coco, the gallbladder in Coco is that there is this fear that there's going to be replacement, and I have to eat the evidence so that they're not there. So again, another thing that's strange. And there's not always never one answer. There's just all these others. Now, this is my territory, so I need my territory. I need to claim my territory. What could we do to help? And in this case, there is I just feel like a lot of fear. A lot of fear. Is it in the poo? No, the fear. It comes from the dog feeling the fear of I'm going to be replaced, or I'm not going to be loved as much, or I'm not going to get the same amount of attention, but there's fear. But this is like an inner crying. There's something going on. All I can tell you is what if you wanted to help, because the dog starts to feel very insecure, is that you could sit there and do so if you can say, okay, I know what insecure feels like, I could be holding my dog or my dog's touching me in some form, and I could start working on, I know what insecurity feels like for the dog. Okay, so then you would go right wrist, third position, soft. So down here, R3S. And you're going to sit there and you're going to feel that insecurity, and you're going to think about how all the different ways, okay, as long as the dog's touching you. Second, you can put your hand on his forehead and you can focus for him. When you notice, doesn't matter. Okay, how do I explain it? Because it says, well, it's not her house. Let me explain something about dogs, animals, and children. They see energy. They smell hormones. They can smell if you're feared. They can smell if you're insecure. They can, and dogs are marvelous when they can tell you that you're going to have a seizure, or you're gonna, if that's good or if that's bad. But it is this part. So if you're feeling insecure, they're going to feel insecure. Or if there is something personal, as if they feel insecure. So did you give your attention to this animal at one point? Did you, like in this case, I think you pegged it. I understand the replacement. So again, that's insecurity. Um, was he a rescue dog? Okay. All of these other things that people use around. So, but you can do that extra thing for yourself with the dog. You can do it on yourself and touch the dog, or you put your hand onto the dog, and you can slowly tap like two sides of his brain, and then on his back between, like it would be here, but it'd be on the back, or you can do it on the front. But just, you can say insecure. You feel it, talk, have a communication. Or if you watch them and you start to notice they're getting signs and that they're making the chemical peptides, again, helping to stop it, or just having your hand like this on the dog, camera's doing that. Just there's several different ways you can do. Okay. So the second one goes to Haize, or yeah, did I say Haize? So this is the cat's bitey. Is that what I heard? The cat is bitey? Okay. So, all right. So the cat somehow has a picture in its mind, and I'm watching how it's like weird. Is the cat okay? The cat feels incompatibility. Not that it feels incompatible. It just feels the energy of incompatibility. Oh, okay. And so Haize is like, it knows it's in charge, but when it feels that, it begins to, I don't like it. So it says it's on my nerves. So I'm going to eat this again. I'm feeling that it's like, stop. cranky. Is a cat cranky? Because all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to withhold. You want something? My language is no. And to the point was like, fine, I'm going to bite you. So, has there been a lot of changes in her Haize's space? Was there just one cat, and then is there something new there? Because I'm looking at this, you know, there's also a dominancy that needs to be taking place. Is there another animal in the house with Haize before? I mean, I feel like there's something new in the space. So the language, the communication, I asked if the biting was because it was playful, and it's like, no. It's like when my bird, like, hey, come on out, let's hang out. And he's like, he'll bite the stick, he'll push it. Yes, very bossy. Yeah, that's because they know they're in charge. And so when they don't want to, don't force it, because then this is where the violence wants to come out. So we learn to communicate with our bird, and if he says no, all right, dude, we'll see you next time. And he's perfectly content to having the environment the way he wants. They're not our little play toys. They are a living, breathing animal. Now, what I'm also feeling for Haize is withhold. I feel like the cat feels like, if you do this, I'm going to withhold love from you. And so does it hold a grudge? Okay. We live with my mom, and he has been getting in her plants. Okay, so there's this certain amount of communication that, again, I feel like there's something to do with the territory, but it's like no, he doesn't like when I leave and gone for long periods of time, especially when I'm gone into the hospital. Okay, but I feel like the Haize could hold a grudge. Like, yes, they don't like it. He doesn't like it because you are his human, and he secretly loves all that. But at the same time, he's, again, I'm feeling this grudge. He feels irrelevant. It's like, oh, I don't matter. Hmm. What else? Okay, so he's there's a certain amount of rapid mannerism I'm looking at, and this is a part that's been catching the eye of this cat that says that I feel like I want to take action. I want to feel young again. How young is he? Why does he come across that he feels old? But he's remembering friskiness, as into playful, as into okay, exerting the boundaries too. But he's also remembered that the hunt. It's like, ooh, I gotta hunt. So there's a lot of things going on. I said, is there any, they go, nothing really to concern except for understand the language a little bit more. Um, he's holding a grudge, big one, from what I can feel. He's like, you must be in the hospital way too many times. Uh, or somebody else, you've left him with somebody else, and they're like, do you know what I mean? He wants to communicate that from what I can hear. Okay. So I don't really feel, yeah, like I said, I don't feel like there's a healing tool. I feel like it is, hold on, I need to communicate. My needs, I'm trying to get my needs met, but I will actually, you're learning to communicate. Wow, okay. That makes sense. Oh, like, where's my notes? All right, thank you, Autumn. We're going to find out okay, so we have Ayme, Zale, and Autumn, and anybody that has Is who did I see first? I saw Zale. I saw Ayme. Saw Zale. Ayme, do you want to go first? Do you want Zale to go? And then after Zale, then I saw Autumn. So then I put it down in that direction. So that's how we're going to do it. It was a rescue cat at 22. Yeah. So now he's comfortable, but yet it's like that little an attitude. That's for sure. Okay. So Zale, if you're ready, are you ready? If not, I will go to Autumn. But Zale, if you're ready, I will go and find you. So Zale. There we go. Let me get you the link and I'll pass that on to you. 23 and 32. Sorry, like that number. So everybody's got to get used to the ideas that I'm on eyebrows. I'm done being fade away. So here I am. Here I am. Meaning I need to get used to me. Ah, we go. We're getting video. Hi. My video working? Let me see. All right, talk, hon. Yes, yes, I can hear you. Awesome. Okay, wonderful. You in your new place?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Oh,
So
I'm
the
happy to.
whole process, Brenda, was like amazing. Just from the moment I saw the place, I was like, "This is it. You know, this is my number one." And I list like put them in order, the ones I want, and this was number one. And I came here, and after that, then the property manager was like, "I want Denzel here. Stop allowing everybody else come. I want Denzel." And so
Okay, I would definitely say that is a definite match.
yeah, and then so they text me. They was like, "Congratulations, you're the choice." It's like we're going to go down on the rent, so they went down to 900 on the rent, and they were like, "The first month's rent, we're gonna just only charge you 135, and then you can pay the deposit, like half of the deposit." So like everything just worked. I was like, "Wow."
My God, you were vibing.
Yeah.
You see, okay, we love it. We love it. Okay, how can I help you, hon?
Okay, so I had a dream the other night. So I found money in a dream,
Money. Okay.
and I remember particularly I saw like $1,000 bill. I was like, wow. I woke up, so I'm just like I'm trying to search, and okay, what does that mean? Because I'm looking up what the number 1,000 mean, and then finding money in a dream, and it's just not making sense to me though.
Okay. Okay. So that first of all, it's about values. Um, like we need to look at our core values. We need to find out what's important to you. So in the idea of money, let me just see if I can find what I'm looking for
Says
here.
like power or love from what I saw, finding like money
All
in a
right.
dream.
Well, that's interesting. Power of love.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that we need to look a little bit deeper though, because so we're looking for, would you say, okay, the word fear just popped up. Do you fear power?
I don't know what if I could see that. Um I could see that.
Now, what I see is as if I was in power. Now, the definition. So, what's important to me is that I want to have fame, I want to have money, I want to have fun. But I feel like your catalog of life was let's say it could have been a family member, and the way they used power was not in a love way, but in a very forceful, manipulative way. So you're going to go, no, I'm not doing that. Okay. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so you will have the values. What's important to you is I want this, but you have now an arrested development from experiences that says, I can't have this because I don't like something. So we always running towards and away from something. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to, how do you stand as yourself within that, the power? So we've been learning about personal power, which is in the 3D world is how do you persuade and influence? But how do you persuade and influence yourself? Do you denigrate yourself? But if you understand how to do it coming from not karma love, but love, you'll be able to stand in a very healthy position without really getting yourself hurt. And if we go a little bit further, um, so if we understand fear is in place, so then the question is the one, do you know how to stand as your autonomy, your authenticity, your individuality, your confidence?
And see, I think that's what it is.
All right, let's find the words.
Okay, so really it's not allowing people to um like you said, just like being myself, my authenticity, like not allowing people to make me feel like me living a certain way is wrong and like worrying about what they think or
Okay,
because
very
that's something that I've been seeing like in my readings too, like just like
okay.
soar, like the soar card, be yourself, be free, don't allow people to make you
Okay.
feel you have to live a certain way, and yeah.
Right. So as your soul wants you to grow because it has a desire, this is about what helps you process to live, to grow, and to be. Without it, you would just die off and not be here. So we have the desire, and then there is ego's desire, there's survival desire, and but your heart's desire and this heart brain coherence is saying, well, I want this. Okay. But all of what you've learned the first seven to 20 some years of your life is to avoid what you want to keep yourself safe. So now we have to look at what that, why, what am I avoiding? What am I avoiding? So it's serving you to keep putting yourself last, or it serves you to act a certain way. So we're going to look at like why. Now I'm noticing that there's a magnetic thing, so we'll change that in just a second. But they said it's how the parents would be, um, how they displayed themselves. So they were out of balance. They were always this karma plays, karma things. There was a lot of lofty energy and a lot of getting, look at my, and then there was a lot of expanded sort importance of self. So let's take the first thing about expanded importance. When you saw your catalog of life, and I said what year or what, yeah, what age? About 4 years old, 4 years or 4 months. Hold on. 4 years old. So at 4 years old, when you would see people expand who they are, not in a, did you see it in a good way? Oh, heck no. I saw it in a lofty way. You would have gone, oh, that scares me, left an imprint, okay, which changed the magnetic attraction. So I'm just writing down things that you need to do here. um, So what we right side magnet of what? Spleen. So we need to do SP spleen mag. Okay. So you're going to keep, your meridians are going to keep doing this. Your body's going to keep doing the same expression over and over and over because of how scared you felt when they expanded with loftiness. Um, you got manipulated more with guilt. So they used the tactic of guilt and to okay. So now I'm going to look at your yes. Okay, you must have been around enough emotional abuse or mental abuse that I'm looking at your hippocampus and I'm looking at your amygdala. Now, as I'm looking at this, I'm the amygdala is enlarged, and then your hippocampus will be small instead of being in equal balance. And I'm looking at the hippocampus, and I do feel it is not really operating at its full potential energetically. And when I look at the amygdala, I feel it is too overworked. So this is based on, if I were to measure the energy, it would be 100 in each. Oops, just lost my screen.
Mhm.
Oh, there we go. So when you have zeros behind a number in your dream, that's how strong you either need to become autonomy, okay, and your authenticity, or you will be doing the opposite. You'll be running away. So was there anything else in that dream that you remember?
Just like it was a bunch of money, and I remember picking it up and opening it, just unfolding it. And I want to say I saw ones too.
Okay. Let
But
me ask you a question. It wasn't yours, correct?
no, it wasn't mine. I
All right.
just
So they're telling you to find your value
okay.
because you
And
don't know what value feels like. You
yeah,
just know that I need to find my value, and value is what's important to you. So if you know how to like avoid a fight, that's value to you, is to avoid a fight, but you are losing your value. I want you to learn, we're going to help you heal to get yourself off the discount rack and put yourself on to having, I have no take, I am priceless.
yeah. And see, it's funny, because this started happening ever since I decided to do the class, like the start try to putting together the tarot class.
Oh,
Uh,
you're creating one for yourself.
yes. Well,
Okay.
creating one to teach.
The cell.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
So
Yeah.
so ever since then, like, cause my family, well, my mom's side, they're against tarot, but I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, I don't care no
Okay.
more
So
what you think. So,
now we'll look at this. His importance of his soul is, this is me.
yeah.
But the everything you grew up with is what you have to unlearn. Everything. So the biggest energy that you got as a kid, and now as a reminder, that's against God.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the church, we have all of these, we have guilt. It's not working anymore. Okay. So what I'm asking spirit more about what we want to do. And there we're going to be looking at the guilt, but we're also going to look about how their control tactics to uh, to make you feel insecure.
Hmm.
So do you hear them? Do you hear them? They want you to put yourself last and something first.
Yeah, but it's like at first I cared. Like the other day, I seen my mom get on my video where I did my readings, and I didn't feel any type of way. I was just like, okay, whatever. Because I know I was like, I probably know she's saying something in her head, like, but I'm just like, I just don't care no more. Like, I gotta do what I want to
Let
do,
me
and
ask
I
you
can't
about your
stop it now.
culture. Okay,
Okay.
you know your culture. I have
Hmm.
no clue. But I can see how some stereotypical way of being, that's what they're showing me, is that there's a stereotypical, yeah, mama, and the way that I'll get my son to behave. Um, what pops for you?
So, as far as culture wise, my dad's side of the family, they don't care. It's my mom's side of the family.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah,
So does
they're
she
the
hold,
ones like old
okay, let me
school.
ask, do you with does she withhold love until you behave?
No, she just
And
like tries to throws it at my face. So like it,
how? Tell me how. That's what we want. We want
so like I don't know why you getting into that. I don't mess with that. It's like spiritual stuff, and yeah, it's just like she
okay,
just
so she's
throws
telling
it in
you
my face like
that
that.
she does not agree with this.
Yeah, yeah, she
Now,
does.
that's fine to have a communication, but when you start to feel that energy of when she says it, your body, it, let's see if you can connect with it even further. What did your body do? Did it hurt? Did your body go, oh, here she goes again?
Just
Uh,
got offended.
Say it again.
Just got offended. If that's the best way to describe it, like
Okay,
just got
so
offended.
good, good, good. So
Yeah.
now your job is to write down, because if you're going to go into this field more spiritually because you want to find your value. Well, you can't get your value until you take your life force off of this,
Hmm.
because she's not going to be the only one. Let's say you don't talk to her because you moved away or whatever. You're going to produce another person just
Oh
like her,
yeah.
if not worse than the first. And you're going to be wrestling, and we don't need you to waste that time. So you need to write down, how do you know to take offense to those words? And then you're going to say, what words? And then you're going to discover the trigger words. Okay.
One
Why?
just popped up.
What was it?
That's not of God. That that's popped up with where even.
It's not of God.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, when you feel this, do you feel like you, on a scale from 0 to 10, you can feel that I'm taking
that's a
offense?
10.
That's a 10. Okay. Now,
That's a
when
10.
that happens, I'm going to tell you this. When that happens, you also then have to go, what's your response? Because your response is to walk away or to please, or what is your response?
Um,
The old one.
the old response. Okay. So the old response will be to try to like go around that conversation because it bothers me so much. Like
All
there's a
right. And when you think bothers me so much, what number is that?
10.
Okay. So what we're going to do is, all right. So we're going to have you write down. So I don't know why, when she says that and she's looking, she's disagreeing. So when you think of that's not of God, you are going to start pulling it out of L3D. So write down L3D, because you're supposed to feel a certain way and then you're supposed to change. Your response of, oh, God, that really bothers me. You're going to do R3S. Now I have to go around it. I have to go around the skill. The skill of going around it is L1D.
Mhm.
Now, what you're going to do is this. Every time when you feel like you have to show up a very particular way, I want you to just use your intention, breathe in, and quietly grab your right wrist under the pinky, and you're going to just rub. Now, you may want to just kind of use a magnet, your hand on that, okay?
Mhm.
And because your heart gets paralyzed to the point where you can't bring that love, okay? And
And
so then when you start to do that, if you can see it and you start to do this, what's going to happen is that the energy, the more you see it, the more you change it, the more all of a sudden there can be a change in a person. So if you don't see it, you need to start saying, thank you, Spirit. Show me the healing. Show me the healing, because you haven't trained your brain to see that, right?
mhm.
The universe, I want to teach people how to see how the universe is working in your favor, not in the ego sense, but in the spiritual sense. So you'll be rubbing those points. So right now, you are going to do the right side, and you're going to go into here. So this part here, use a magnet on it, but then you're also going to rub this 30 times. Okay, and that's
Okay.
right there. I would say like 2 fingers from the elbow point right here. Okay, so you're going to rub there, but you can also, if you're having a conversation and you're doing a live experience, you can hold that point and then grab your spleen at the same time. Okay.
Okay.
And then if you have to swap sides, you can. So you're going to calm, you got to train the nervous system so you have to regulate. That helps regulate that. Now you are going to do the next thing, which is you're going to we have to get your spleen from pulling out of this story. Okay. So that means you're going to go down and you're going to do the right foot, and you're going to do the spleen point, which is that bunion point right there. Okay. It's right there. And what you're going to do is you're going to use a magnet, and then you're going to rub 30 times. Okay.
Okay.
Now, do that. Peel those out. Um, it's going to start to balance out a little bit more, because our whole goal is to make sure your brain, the hippocampus and the amygdala. It doesn't have to go into that auto response. Okay, we want to help the brain to grow out of that. Now, when you start to feel that guilt coming at you, okay, because it's not just having a conversation, this is guilt coming at you.
Yeah.
I need you to go, notice how you go, no, 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 I don't want to do this again. Snapshot. And you are going to then do both sides of your spleen. So that means you can do this afterwards, but you measure it. You're going to rub the left first, then the right, that point. And then because you know that that energy, you're going to start pinpointing. Where is it in the body? Oh, it's in my solar plexus or something. Okay. Oh, it's in my back. Then you're going to do R2D. Okay. Right. Raise second position D. Because you're asked to do this at 1,000% to go get your value. But your value, which is what's important to you, is wrapped up in how to keep the peace, how to do these things.
Yeah.
And your body and you are not going to be able to focus on your career or your purpose because you have to fight these battles. Your life force is in the wrong places right now. Okay, so you have displaced loyalty to yourself.
Because I have people on my live, they tell me like, "Oh, I want to learn like how to read tarot from you." And
Okay,
so, like, I've been putting that together, like just
good.
together, and like a plan of how to teach it and
Okay,
everything.
so I'll give you one more thing. As you're starting to find more of your purpose, because Spirit is saying and sending your lot of people that's supposed to be to you, you are then carving yourself out of this pit that you're in hell, but you
Mhm.
don't know you're there. And as you begin to do so, you are meant to notice where the limitations, the self imposed limitations. And
Mhm.
the reason we have to take out those feelings is because you'll start to notice that you have an automatic reaction of self imposed limitations. And it literally, you'll feel it hit the wall. When you do that, come back.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, but first you have to get all of these other energies moving.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank
And
you.
again, I'm glad you won. Thank you for this movement. It's good to see you. And I'm proud the fact you're going after your purpose. Glad you have a new home. That's wonderful. Oh,
Thank
always
you.
good to see you, honey. Love you.
Love
All right, bye. There's a lot we can learn from that. We really can. We really can. So, Autumn, are you next or Ayme? Ayme or Autumn? Because Ayme, it's her choice. She can come on next. I got. I hate when the makeup just kind of gets like trying to put my contact in. Uh, what do you think? What do you think of that? Let's paraphrase. What'd you learn from it? That's a beautiful reading. What made it beautiful? What made it beautiful? Could you see and hear that in other readings it's about value or about dreams, how why they're important? Can you see how phrases that have energies can lock you in your body and how your meridians can just, do all this? Yeah, I don't see her responding yet. So I feel like I'm just going to go over and give it to Ayme so we can get the show, keep moving it along. Right there. Here we go. Crystal, you won a chance to come on, honey. You won a chance to come on, just like Zale did. He won. You leave hearts and leave comments on my videos, and you won. Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Excellent. Now, you do so much for this Medicine Woman solution. You also know that you want it, need it, desire it, everything. Because why? What is your truth about why you even care to watch these shows, to win and put your name here, do PIFs? Why do you do all that?
Number one, to learn about um, who I am on a soul level, because I I didn't understand before that I was in hell.
Okay, explain that. This is the hard part for people to wake up from the Matrix.
Yeah, it is.
You've seen it. It was amazing.
I I thought I had a great life. You know, a new car, house, people in my space all the time, and yet I was bitching about everything. Life
Wow.
sucked. Like, I mean, it was like everything was against me. And now it's like, yeah, I have these things, but they don't create my identity. I create my identity.
That means your inner world creates your outer world, but your outer world doesn't have to control you.
Exactly.
Very good, very good. And so you love the pips, you love to bring people, you love to share, and because it's created this feeling inside of you of what?
Peace. It
Peace.
and it also brings me joy to help someone else get a glimpse of what I have begun to see every day.
So you start living more of your purpose.
Uh-huh.
And of course, that starts to feed you in a healthy way. That means spirit feeds you. Is that about right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a difference. We don't need to feed on people.
Mm-mm.
That is, if we feed off people, that is like going to the store and buying processed food. But
Mm-hmm.
when you start to let spirit feed you and work with synchronicities, life becomes sweeter.
It does. It becomes really sweet. Like just, oh, probably a half hour ago, there's a knock on my door.
Oh, yeah.
It was my littles. Next door littles.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because daddy pays me once a month. It's, you know, no big deal. And they got to bring it over because usually dad
Nice.
does because so they, you know, they felt really important.
Yeah, so there's that love exchange and all of that. That's
Mhm.
wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so you paid at the same time you won. And I'm glad other people want to, but it's everybody knows their slot. Everybody knows their
Mhm.
slot. It's like, ooh, but hey, you only won one. Amazing, hey.
I was like, wow.
I know. I was expecting you to name at least two, three times because
I
you hit
was too, and I'm
the
like,
jar
okay,
on all
that's
of them.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, because you want to. And I see all this. Okay. Um, so we'll see how time goes. Yeah, only noon. Only noon. What?
Only noon.
Yeah, I used to do 2.5 hour shows. Now I'm doing what, four? Don't bother me. Okay, let's get cracking. How can I help?
Again.
And okay. So why does she say digging? And that's because the spirit already knows. Her soul already knows. It's not that she giving me the pen. It is we're going to listen to what the soul wants. Okay. Now you have a lot of good news that's happening. There's a part of you that was kind of really favorable of what happened when last week's show with Robin and the cards.
Hmm.
So do you have a deck?
I've got my deck. I've got.
There you go. Just pick it.
All right.
Now, what I want you to do is that I just want you to sit with the energy. I'm going to increase the vibrations because there's something from the galactic aspect.
Mm.
So
Oh,
shuffle them
no,
up.
then it's not that one. Then it's not that one. It's this one.
All right. Well, we got several. So you pick one. And it doesn't have to just be galactic, but just understand we got something from the galactic, and you're going to end up pulling one card. And you're not going to look at the answer. You're just going to pull one and let it fall out, or we can split the deck. But they're saying there's a part of you that, yeah, there you go. Don't look at it and just leave it. And what you're going to do is that we know that this is galactic. Okay.
Right.
Now
Yep.
we're going to grab one from your mother.
Mother.
Yeah, so you're going to pick now. Why is she picking her decks? Well, I'm not, this is not about picking my decks. It's about empowering and all of this. So, your mom got a little close to me. Um,
All right. There's like three of them that flipped upside
okay.
down.
All right. Okay. Take all three, but just set them down because obviously I was like, don't give her the whole deck. Come on.
We'll take the top three that flipped upside down. There we go.
Okay. Now we're also going to take and what's that mean? We're going to pull one from me. It says from your mentor. I says, all right, who's your mentor? Well, you. Okay, apparently all right, so I'm gonna intentionally put it out there, and it probably is your deck. She's made this beautiful deck, and I know that I need to make mine, but she's got more time on her hands than I do. Oh, but I think thank you, Spirit. We're going to expand the time. Um, so she's my catalog of life, and it's like, yeah, it can be done. I've seen it.
Okay.
Oh, I can do it. Now we're going to take the three cards from your mother, and we're going to flip up the middle cards. You're going to lay them out one, two, three, and you're going to flip up the middle card.
Meditation.
Was it upside down or was it straight up? Correct.
Oh, it's correct.
All right. Don't, we're just put down meditation. Okay. Now you're going to flip up the one from me about meditation.
See yourself as whole because you
Okay.
are.
Very obvious. Okay. Now we know. Now you're going to take the galactic card and flip it up.
Authenticity. It was upside down.
So it's upside down. So you're not using all of your authentic self. And you have to learn to be more whole. And so that's part of the journey. And you can do it through meditation. Okay. Now take the meditation card out, put it up in the corner, and then you're going to take the right one.
Vitality.
So we know that you're supposed to be working on vitality. Now, if you put it down and you notice that it is about being whole and that you're not being completely authentic about your vitality, this is where you go a little bit further. And we're going to say we need to have more of a definition. So this means that your brain is asking you, or well, your soul is asking you to go out and get more knowledge or experiences or catalog of life. So the capacity to live and develop. This can be mental, emotional, physical vigor. Okay, the vitality. And so on the vitality scale, that physically it is, oh my God, I got this. I have great vitality. Where do you see yourself on that scale? Done being the best.
I heard 4.
Okay, mental. I am mental, have vigor. My mental thoughts, mental vitality. What number 10 being the best?
I heard 8.
So you have great mental thoughts. You support yourself. You know how to get yourself out of a shit show, all of this. So you're hearing an 8, and I'm going to say yes. Okay. So when I will say 5 years ago, it was a minus. So that's great development. Now let's look at this vitality, your emotional vitality. And know that sounds strange, but the emotional vitality is that like, do you have energy? Do you have the strength? And you just not strength in that I have to fight, but look at me. I don't even have to think about it. I'm holding myself up. And the energy, I have the energy. So emotionally, what number is it?
I'm gonna say 5. It went like 4, 6, so it's like on this.
Yep, good. I'm watching it be more of a 3 and a 4. Okay, so you're real close on that one. And that means you have one of your littles is trying to tell you that we're better than that. We're not that bad. So you're not aware of it, but your 4-year-old self. And the topic is literally about deficiency, but we'll get there in just one second. So now we have spiritual. What's your spiritual vigor? That vitality. Do you have the energy and the strength spiritually?
Both upright.
And that is, what is that?
Growth.
Growth. Okay, now Did you pull the third card before I told you to do it?
Oh, I just
Okay, I didn't want you to flip that yet.
oops.
Because we have mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. So we are measuring the vitality of your spirit at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Is something coming up?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay, okay. All right, just checking. So what happens is that what number would that be? Spirit said, when I'm in my spirit space, that's a heck of a 10. And I can feel the food that I need, which is to communicate it, live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it, dream it, imagine it. When you're disconnected, are you aware when the spiritual vitality is gone?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so they want you to strengthen that. Okay.
Okay.
And then that third card is about growth. And so this is where they're telling you that you are looking now at the growth aspect. And so again, if you look at growth, and I told you to see yourself whole.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing yourself whole, there is not looking at all the things where you're not whole. Oh, not whole. I see whole. Not whole, not whole, not whole. No, being whole is this confidence that with spirit that you're work with the synchronicities that you already know that you're whole. And do we need to keep falling for, oh, that's pain, oh, I don't feel good, I don't want to go out and work. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so we know that you're getting there. Now how about life itself? Are you able to take that next adventure for yourself?
Getting
You
closer.
had somebody give you an green light and you have not been excited about it. You've been avoiding. And it's been interesting because that is what they really want you to begin to see how that works. And I'm going to respect it, so I'm not going to say it out loud. So just keep the words quiet, but
Oh,
note it
yeah.
that in the old day, if you had that old personality, you would have been all over that in a hot second, but you'd also been running 3,000 miles the opposite direction,
Mm-hmm.
totally towards and away from. So you've been putting it out to the universe, yes, 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 and now it's starting to present itself. Why haven't you stepped up? What insecurities secretly, where your personal life force power, where you persuaded yourself to not having vitality and growth and seeing yourself whole, was it about ignoring it? Was it about my body? Was it about, do you understand? Or if
I
they really
heard
felt,
I heard worth.
okay. So in this case, what I'm looking at is this is like soul work that Zale had. You got some soul work. Okay. You're ready to really look at this now because the universe is starting to deliver to you
Mm-hmm.
what you've been asking for, but you can't do a vibrational match.
Makes sense.
So in this case, you are now going to use your spirit to hear your secret thoughts,
Okay.
not to condemn, because that's what 3D personal power was, but personal power with life force. Where did I leave it? Where did I get convinced by the world? Where did I believe it as a kid? Where is it? What do I need to unlearn? Because they're saying you're ready to go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And any of those, are they all borrowed to the point, because they're all borrowed, but is it to the point that it made it to be your truth? Understand? Because what I'm hearing is that L2D, I regret. So right now, just grab L2D and I regret. I regret. Regardless of what it is about what I regret, just look at the words. When you chose you were taught to, and manipulated to regret choosing you when it meant going out into the world to have your growth, to seeing yourself whole. Somebody would knock you down a peg or two. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've often said to you, I don't understand why you were seen that way because I do not see any the things that you share, the things that you do. I'm like, I don't even know where that comes from. It's like they wanted to see one thing and place that on you. And this is important because this is part of the world right now. So I would look at my eyebrows and I'm like, okay, it's this here. These are the faults that's causing me to think that I have angry face and people are saying I'm always mad. So I plucked them when I got older, not knowing. And so my eyebrows became less and less. I thought the thinner they are, the better, right? Well, what happens when you pluck? Pluck too much, your hair don't grow back.
They don't grow back.
Okay. So now and I'm like, God, I look awful. And I stopped with my spirit and go, where's your personal life force where you had to persuade yourself to fall out of love? And so I then did eye switching. I can't see myself. If I'm just out of alignment just a little bit, my brain will start to freak out based on old programs. In order for you to see yourself whole, we have to look at all the ways that you were told that you were ugly, all the ways that you were mentally screwed up, or you can't make the decision, only we can. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I have never seen you anything other but whole. But then when I let go of the wholeness and I'm looking at how you see yourself based on how the outside is said, but I don't see that. So it's time to take off what they put on. That you believe that your world, you had to believe in their delusion that it came to pass. Just breathe, babe. Just breathe. Just breathe. What pops up, if you can talk, not, if not, right, because I respect your space, but notice like the energy of the dominance. Notice the control dramas. Notice the manipulations. Notice. And so you taught yourself to regret you. That is more important than anything else. So not true. Feel the importance. You're not, that is. You're nothing, but that is. I can't be loved because that. So that very thing where you regret this or that about it in the past, you're going to let it be your stumbling block. I can't present myself because all of the things that you were told that it's wrong. Can't I present myself because now, did you get ridiculed about that topic?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So again, keeping people away, you're fine. But if you were to get them closer, and in person is always completely different than this. Oh, there you go. There you go. Can you feel how the energy of sensation, okay, of how they would judge
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and criticize and compare? Oh, Ayme, I like how Zale said it was that taking offense. Okay. That moment you went, oh, but you believed it to be true. You believed that they were the expert. You believed.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it was just a absolute truth that you're supposed to make people God. It was the energy of the words. It was the energy of the um,
The
again,
energy coming at me.
good. You notice the direction. Very good. Notice how it's at you. And this regret Now, this is connected to the liver, which is connected to your weight. If the liver's not going to work properly, you will gain weight. That's one thing I do know. Is it for you? I don't know. Go talk to a doctor. This is just metaphysical information, and this is for entertainment purposes only. But energetically, when I ask your liver, can you process all of the things that has been, put into the mouth and into the stomach? No. Why? Well, I have to put a self-imposed limitation on myself, and I'm supposed to regret being me. Oh, it's a shame you look like that. It's a shame that. But again, what did you learn today? Notice how you believed him. And I was saying it was a manipulation. I want you to deliberately feel, instead of just regret, if you measured it like a 10, I want you to begin to use your spiritual self of having new knowledge of going, they always like dramas. They need to control the situation. Notice how they're using these words, which we didn't get to today, because this is more about a love bombing type thing. But was it fear, guilt, or shame that you were controlled by?
Shame.
Exactly. And they knew it. Now, when you feel the shame, where is it?
I heard right.
In your body, head, in front of you, inside.
It's like coming from up here.
Okay. And begin to notice that it gets your attention. And that means you better behave. Good girl. It's a shame, 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 shame. Tone, gestures. What was the face? Body movement. And notice that they zeroed in on that particular issue on you and would just pick like a scab.
Mm-hmm.
What did they want you to do that you wouldn't do? They wanted a particular outcome. You're like, no.
I wasn't my sister.
Do you have to continue to believe they have that power over you because they have to control?
No.
So now let's go forward in time and let's come to this time. And I want you to think of all of the people that was in the past and and all the different ways of how they would manipulate control. And if they couldn't get that particular outcome, what? Was it still shame? But in a clever way of talking?
It was the love bombing. It was the
You're starving for it.
mm-hmm.
We learned that if they can get you into that state, and when you walk away or they walk away, I'm going to die. So they know this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the pimp in the hole. They know this. I cannot be replaced. You're not going to ever get this from anybody else but me. I'm good at it. Now, do as I say.
Mm-hmm.
And you were convinced that the moment they took away that love, what was going to happen to you?
I was going to shrivel up.
Correct. I want you to heal it because I need you to become an individual. I want you to find within you that your heart and spirit and it will provide. And I want you to live in synchronicities. But that little is saying, I have no vitality because it's in the belief that I can't be loved. They took it. But what about the other billions of people that could give it to you without using these control dramas and manipulation? Your child only could see the manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
and was hurt by it.
And it looks for it.
And that's the lie. Yeah, it looks for it, but that's the lie. And the reason it looks for it is because that's how it's defined what love is. Karma love.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been noticing when you've been healing? Love is love.
Mm-hmm.
And you're starting to see more of the control dramas. So now what are you doing? You got to see how you gaslit yourself. You got to see how you control yourself by a lie. Your personal power, your life force about how you persuaded yourself. When I began to notice I didn't have eyebrows, I thought it was just because I was aging and fading. And as soon as I said fading, I'm like, son of a goofies. I used to do that. I made myself fade, put myself last, gave them love so they would stop. I would, I was doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But part of self-care is changing all those. I decided I need eyebrows, and it isn't about being vain. Freaking, I have eyebrows. Everybody has eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave myself some eyebrows. Doesn't make me look like a clown. I can hear my sister or my daughter or other people. Oh, it's too dark. God, I don't recognize you. That's the point. I'm done having myself show up in a faded way. So now those are compliments. Did I do it right? I don't know. Did I do it wrong? I don't know. But I am exploring the fact I love myself. So I will go in. So this is what you're going to have to do with the issue you typed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 10. And then hear all the voices. Here, remove, transcend, let go. Swap over. And you keep doing it. I did that this morning. So when I looked at myself, I don't have to go hear all those voices of the people. And then I rubbed my heart. I used a magnet first because my heart's going, no, I feel it. Heart, I love you. We are going to be more in sync. So I changed the magnetic aspect and I began to rub it. I did this. And guess what? I don't see myself as that goofy clown I did hours ago. Because usually it takes a long time to wrap your mind around it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care what other people think. Because once you get used to me, then you won't be looking. You're so used to seeing me the old way, you want the old way back. Can't. That's not me anymore. So a reset, self-care is super important. So right now, I feel like they're saying that you're done and you can look at all of the soul work you got to do. And you are going to visit more of the L2D because it's about the lie.
Okay.
Because you're going to look at it, do you have to hear all these voices? Like for me, the eyebrows.
No.
And once I hear it, I can begin to feel, why do I have to believe the lie? The lie. You may have to do some sensory eye accessing or hearing because yours was more the tone of their face
Yep.
or their body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So when you're doing this, I want you to imagine you hear the tone as
Okay.
well. Measure, measure, measure. Okay. All right. Ooh, we're on another quest
We're on another quest.
because
Yeah.
it's going deeper on deficiency because I think you're beautiful. I think you're amazing. And it's not because I'm holding you whole. I can't see all the bullshit that was laid upon you. You don't show anything of those signs at all. I just scratch my head and going,
What?
you need to stop seeing it. You need to stop seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the body will start to form itself accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you're on that next part. You got a whole brand new year to reset and go, okay, I'm going to go for more. Not just the weight loss or any of that stuff, but I'm going to really dig more into these because I want to reset my value.
Mm-hmm. I do.
Good job. All right. All right. You feel better though?
I do. I do.
All right. So it got in there, it got intense. So without remembering what you were measuring, is it different?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we know you can feel it. There's more to do. We already know that. So what do? We grab the golden
Put
white
one
light
light,
towards
put one
the
in
heart.
the heart, and it's on the
All
other.
that is. Yep. And it says, did they say yes or no?
Yes.
Good. Thank you, Spirit. All right. And at this point, just seal in your healing. Oh, there you go. Very good. All right. Thank you. All right. I love you, hon. And I think we used up your freebie as well.
Probably.
Okay. Thank you so much. We will talk to you later. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
All righty. So what did we learn from that? A different kind of card reading. Yeah, fantastic reading. Good. What can you paraphrase that really helped you? Did you resonate? Did you hear the points that maybe you need to do? What do you think? What do you think? Because don't just listen, effort, participate, heal your shit, grow, 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 because that's what her reading was about. And those two cards fit in those three particular stories. So the last one is she's ready to grow. Okay? Did you like the card reading? You can do it too. Okay, I'm going to grab the. Oh, I already did. Oh, I did. Oh, why? Oh. Okay, that's still working. I'm looking over here and it looked like it stopped working. We're going to bring Autumn in. Miss Autumn. Just got to go get her. Miss Autumn. Here she is. Again, why are these people coming on? Well, some Amy's paid, but they have won. They want to see this movement. They have asked, hey, I'm going to give you coins. I'm going to make comments. I'm going to help you get you out there. We're going to help create this movement. You love that reading. Excellent, excellent. And it's just getting in the intention and getting into the mindset and allowing yourself to go into the next stage. Krista, we're almost ready for you. Yes, we will do a reading for you, my friend, as well. I do know that I have 3 PIFs. So if you're coming on, then I'll have to take your name off the PIF. So that means we have Ayme and Nichole. And if there's anybody else that wants a PIF, then you go ahead and tell me. Well, good. I'm glad to see it. And just waiting for Autumn to, her computer and all that to bring it on in. So, not going to ask whether you like my eyebrows or not, but can you see, do I seem awkward with them? Because if you're so used to seeing me being faded away, and you would think, oh, you're colorful, but my face, I'd always want to hide my face. I don't want to do that anymore. I honestly don't. So I have to grow with me. I have to grow with me. And I have to see this isn't about being vain. This is about being in love with myself. Hey, hi.
Hi.
Oh, good. I can hear you wonderfully. Okay. So thank you so much for I can't remember what you did, but you did something. But whatever it is, thank you. And
You're welcome.
bring a friend, bring new friends. That's what you did. Excellent. So how can I help, hun?
I'm just going to do what Spirit wants.
Okay, you got it. You have been growing quite a bit. You've been a little bit more aggressive at saying no to things. So whatever it was that you were doing that used to just be nonchalant, complacent, maybe it was to run from or help you with your brain.
Mhm.
But either way, you're like, no, I don't want that as much. I want to be more my spiritual self. Does that make sense? Instead of
Yes.
just relying on other things.
Yeah.
So they're telling me is that you're learning to take and have a new habit. And with that new habit, so it'll stick, which is probably being more joyful and not have to rely on other things. They said we need to begin to notice like when you start to feel shy, which is about avoiding, or
Mhm.
or feeling intimidated, which is avoiding. And they said that it's you're ready to start to clear that out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to go a little bit further on this. So I'm going to put down shy. Now, shy was a huge thing. Did your family ever say that you were a shy child?
Maybe not necessarily shy, but I could see that being a factor due to my challenges, and especially after the trauma that I've
Okay.
had.
Okay, so now we're zeroing just a little bit more. We understand that it has to do with her challenges, physical challenges,
Mhm.
because I know that she is actually quite smart, emotionally, mentally is getting better and better all the time, and spiritually she is. So now let's look at that physical challenge. And when she was shy, too, so there's a lot of gun shy, there's a lot of having to learn to do certain things, a practice. And they said, but one of the things that um, was they're using the word built into you
Mm,
is that the outside saw you as deficient. They
yes,
saw you.
yes,
Now, within the family, that's fine, but you also had a certain amount of prejudice in the world because people weren't used to seeing somebody different than themselves. Okay.
yes,
Kids can be forgivable because they've never seen it, they're going to look. But those that were taught when they see something different that they have to abuse.
yes.
Okay. So we have to look at how this is not just you, it's part of the culture and all of this, whether it is your culture or collective culture. There was a certain amount of saying that you're deficient.
Mhm.
And does that have bad words? I mean, what kind of definition does deficient mean to you when you were a kid?
Lacking, unable to do things, pulled apart, set aside,
Okay.
um, not called on things for various activities because of also not only my physical but also my mental challenges too.
Um, like schoolwork? I mean, I
Yes,
really
schoolwork,
okay, I was gonna say
schoolwork,
I don't really see you as having mental challenges in that per
schoolwork.
se. In schoolwork. Gotcha. So what did it do to your self-esteem?
Brought it down pretty far.
Okay. Now, when we look at this, that becomes then the identity
Mm,
because this is the way they see you. And this
correct.
is not the way you want to be seen. But in the first few years of your life, that's how you were seen. You were like, this is what it is. But at the same time, you have been growing and finding more of your spiritual self. And
Mhm.
I have seen a growth in you. Uh, how long has it been since we've been communicating? How long has it been? A couple years?
How long have we been? I think it's been about 4 to 5 years.
Okay. And now that you're actively, effortly changing more and more, you're starting to beginning to see your growth. Has anybody else seen it?
I think some people have.
And did some people accept it, or some people want you to go back to the old way?
I'm guessing there's a lot of people that wanted me to go back to the old way.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to them
Yeah.
because the way they memorized you, that's impossible.
Hmm.
Okay. And so there was a certain amount of reliance on wanting their love or approval, or because that meant as you become more you spiritually, their little control dramas can't work.
Correct.
And their manipulation is not going to work. And you're like, done, done.
Mm,
I'm done. Now, what does this mean? It means that there's a part of you that's had learned to withhold a certain amount of love from them
mm,
because you're like, this is my boundary. I can't do this.
mm.
Now, there's a difference between it hurts and I need to withhold versus I'm done and I'm withholding. So we're looking at how you're building a healthy boundary on a
Yes.
spirit. Now they said that withhold is that you learned from them that they would withhold, like holding their breath until you did what they wanted.
I can see that.
Okay. Now, if you're looking at it from that angle, then you're going to write down R1S right now. Okay. R1S, they're
Give me
holding
a
their,
minute.
or
That's good enough.
come back and watch this. Take note.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like I'm holding my breath. They're holding their breath, and you're going to you're going to do R1S because this is about controlling relationships. Now you're in a new one, right?
Yes.
That means that you want to make sure you're not bringing up bad behavior in a new relationship.
Yes.
Okay, this is where that reading's going. And it's all about territory. So you're going to end up doing R1S again for territory. The first one is about relationships, okay? And how they're
Okay.
holding the breath until I change my behavior. Okay. Now, this is where you automatically give you the territory without knowing. So you're going to train in this new relationship. Hopefully, you're not going to train yourself to be last. Or
Correct.
train yourself to be first and they're last. Okay. This isn't about changing anybody, but this is about territory. So this relationship is meant to help you see where do I begin and you end, and vice versa. It's
Correct.
about territory, sharing, because you were forced to share. You were forced that you didn't have anything. We all have it, but you have to share. You're like, but I want to make sure that I have a healthy relationship.
Mhm.
Okay. Now I'm looking at the challenging of feeling stable when somebody is in their shit show. So
I can see that.
okay, so it doesn't matter which side it is, but there is no stability. I don't know what the stability is. So there's a sense of feeling of that it affects that stability. Okay.
Mhm.
Which is now you are going to make sure that you are going to do L1S.
So I got R1S and then now I got L1S. Okay.
Yep. This L1S is a lot to do with how they controlled you and manipulated you. And they would do things to make you do things out of sympathy for them.
Right.
Okay, now, would you say that is out of fear, guilt, or shame?
All three.
Okay, so yours weaves in and out. All right,
Correct.
so your part of you, when you, let's say you're working on it and you feel like, okay, I feel good about it, but your heart, now your heart brain connection is super duper important. So let's say you're in a happy space, but you're not willing to do something.
Mhm.
And some people just get pure lazy and, oh, well, I can get Autumn to do it because people used to be, I'm proud that I can manipulate people. But
Mhm.
again, you are like me, tie-dye, that's like, yeah, we're not doing it. We're in a 5D world now. You don't need to do this. So when you begin, let's say you're sitting there and all of a sudden you can feel inside, oh, I'll go do this. And then if you ask yourself, would I really go do this? Okay, you're going to have to start, because when you start to discovering whether you're doing things out of love or just out of habit,
Mhm.
okay, so you have to just decipher. But if you begin to, yeah, I want to do it, you go to do it and it's fine. Or were you just, was a person really cute all of a sudden and use cute sentences to, and you're like, fine, I'll go do it, you know? Or I don't see that a lot with you. But again, it could be in the new relationship. But
No.
what I do feel is like an automatic response. Like my mother would be like, I'm out of coffee. Okay, well, I have to go make coffee. If there was certain words, again, you can't see this yet. You're going to have to experience it because I asked you and you said, oh, it's guilt that controls me, shame that controls me, and fear. Now, love can control you. Karma love can control you. How do you
Correct.
get how do you get convinced? Now your program says, yo, you don't need any convincing. You're just going to do it. Because that's the right thing to do. It's the nice thing to do. You've been trained well.
I
So we're
can see I can see that with this new not see with the new relationship, but there is a differences where how do I want to put this? Different aspects, different points of view that are still working their kinks out, more or less. But the fear, the shame, and the guilt are from the past that I
Yeah.
don't want to bring up in this relationship.
Right. So we have to dismantle this habit. So when
Correct.
you're there, you are going to do this point, which is on the right. You may include the left, but it is that heart point under the pinky, right at the
Correct.
crick. And they don't need to know what you're doing. But if all of a sudden you feel like you automatically have to get up without thinking because it's the right thing to do, it's all this, da 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 da. Just we need to get your heart not to go or you want to bring your higher self into your heart. You want your heart and your higher self to work together. So you're like, oh, I got to do this. That could be a sign. Rub it. Oh, I can feel, yeah, rub it. Right?
Mhm.
Mainly the right, but if you have to do both, you can. Oh, hold on. I don't understand what's happening to my computer. Or
Okay.
okay, so it's asking for a password. All right, so what does this do for you? Why does this come up? Oh, so it's boundaries, which means if they know your button or they know your code, then they can just type it in and control you. Because this was about how do you control the TV? And if I use the symbol of TV, which is here is me, my beam, my soul is beaming in here, and this is the Brenda show. Okay, so what I
Right.
is that if you can take and be in charge of your heart, if you can be in charge of your heart, you can be in charge of how you as a soul shows up through the television set. They don't have to have the passcode. They don't have to. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Does that make sense?
It
So
does. It
your
does.
soul is also wanting to go deeper at looking at not to be mad about it, but go, oh, let's pull these little hot buttons out. We don't need those there.
Uh-huh.
All right.
There's been some interesting conversations, I'll put you that way, that
Okay.
have
Yeah. And when
sparked
you have
up. But
conversation and you start to lose it, then I want you to start making sure you want them. How do you want them to do it? You may have to do a round of EFT. I don't know, you know, if you do EFT, but if you can do EFT, do so. Okay. Because hitting all that energy is hitting you all at once. So if you can take
yeah.
a round of control, disrupt pattern, that would be great. Because, yeah, is that a skeleton and death in the corner?
Yes, it is. It
Okay.
is. It is.
I thought, am I seeing things? But no. Okay.
No. It is definitely a skeleton.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you.
You're looking really good. You've been changing yourself, I've been noticing. So, and your energy is so much better. So good job. Good
Thank
job.
you so much.
All right. Love you, honey. We'll talk to you
Love
later.
you too. Bye.
Okay. So, did we learn from that? Did we learn? Can you see how they're ready to go a little deeper? And I think on the planet, the universe wants people to go a little deeper. So we have, hi, TP, how are you? The Reaper, yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to take, oops, get the link. Crystal, are you ready? Let me get this down here. Now, Angela, I know that you're like, oh, I want. Now, remember, you can go on YouTube like you're busying right now, Angela, and you can learn that when the show's over, if I have little reels or go back to my old videos, you can start putting your name out there, like by going, there's Angela Stokes, right? You can go, hi, Brenda, or great show. Leave comments with the little thumbs up, whatever, but just leave comments, and that'll get your name in the show. Sharing. But I can't get a conference, but don't stop sharing because sometimes they show me on YouTube who shares. Okay. But how else can you help with the movement? I have one person that always is like sharing me, doing something, putting them on Facebook groups. I still do that. Because you just take the link, you put them there. I know they're doing this, so I know that the energy exchange and spirit is like, yeah, we're willing to give a little extra more because it's about energy exchange. Okay, so let me, oh, pay attention. Did you send it? No. All right, let's send it. Here we go. Remember, if you win one of these, you don't have to have your camera on, but you do have to have your voice. Okay. Yeah. And that'll take care of that one, and that one. Excellent. And Autumn also got her name because she paid. She's got her name also because it wasn't just $3. I sent you the link, and then as soon as that, I'll see the link I sent you, Miss Crystal, and see what happens there. Oh, let's look at, I love it. July 23rd. It's like, oh, I get so excited because that's my birthday. And take the moments of joy. Take the moments of joy. Feel how it makes you giggle. And just feel how your heart is and start to live by gratitude because it makes you healthier. It makes you feel the giggles, write down those moments. It's how you can healthily feed yourself. Hey, Tamara. Yes, I do. We have, right now I've got like 2 names, and if I put yours down, so I have Angela, Tamara, and Nichole, if she's still here. Hi, Toby. How are you? Oh, thank you so much for that, Nichole. I really appreciate it. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. All right. Hi. Okay, thank you so
Let me
much.
just check my volume for him.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I always turn my media down.
Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate it. Here she is.
Hold on.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Okay.
There.
There we
Now, we had talked a long time ago, and then she got off Facebook, and finally I got off Facebook, started doing YouTube, and all of a sudden, Spirit brought her back in my world. And she's been going there, making comments on my videos and doing hearts and whatever it is, but that gets her name put into the drawing. And the universe wanted it. So, thank you. Now, how can I help you?
Just whatever, I guess.
Okay. So there's a part of you that wants to feel physically better, but you can't get past that motivation to physically do it, like to exercise or to do yoga or to.
I got you. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to look at why. Now, that means there's a belief or there's a value that usually is in the way. Okay. But I feel a control drama is in the way, which means you have to put the self-imposed limitation on yourself. I feel like people in your world, because you've had so much trauma in the past, it did something to your brain.
Drama.
Trauma and drama, exactly. And so it created a self-imposed limitation. And your brain has already changed shape because you've had it continuously for so long.
Yeah.
But we want you to begin to see how can we help. And one of the things is that how love was used as a weapon. Now, did you watch the beginning of the show where we were talking about false intimacy?
Yeah, I've been at the old show.
Okay, so so have you seen how they butter you up to get something, how they feel that love state and you're fine, you do it, and then if you don't
on that part was my brother, but the other part was my exes. Yeah.
Okay. See, she knows her life. She knows. So but it is that snapshot about how moved with love. Now, if she wanted to continue to get that love, she would have to do more because they would raise the stakes even higher because they knew that they had her hooked. Now, what would make a person do that? Well, one, it was a convincing that you're nothing without me, or that you're going to die without me, or that loss. And so
Yep.
this is where Crystal wants to start to be more her, more autonomy, more in charge, more individual. But these programs, so we have to find what will what is her soul willing to have her do, because these programs have, I mean, she's come through a lot. She's done a lot of healing. She said oftentimes, if it wasn't for you, Brenda, I wouldn't be here. So, but it's her effort of using the tools and maybe listening to new information that gives her that support. Now we're going to help her move a particular feeling. Okay. Now, her fear is saying to her, remember, it's fear, shame, or guilt that control her. But fear was I'm going to say, but you got to say, do you feel like fear is what has really controlled you and manipulating you? The fear of
Yes.
loss, the fear. Okay. But her fear is, I got to do this or I'm going to die. So there's a survival mindset issue that
Yeah.
comes into play.
Hit or die.
Say it again, dear.
Hit or die. Yeah.
Exactly. And this, once it's marked in the brain, so effing deep, it makes it so that, and this is where people don't get it. Okay, your brain changed because of those experiences. Well, just get over it, Crystal. When you hear these things and you're like, I would love to.
Right.
But well, if you just did some effort and you're like, but I want to. It's not that you can't. You were forced into believing. Do not put your toe in the water. You do not rock the boat. You do not. So fear controlled her. Not just her fear of fear, but people have put fear into her. Yeah, she can see it, but the brain and the way she had to cope, handle, and deal, she's memorized it, and now the mind is in the body. So how do we help? Crystal's been learning how to become more spiritual, more putting more love in her heart. But these efforts just are like trip wires. As soon as she starts to proceed, she lands on her ass. Like, so we will somewhat stop ourselves. Okay. So what does this mean? It means that we now have to decide how we want to get back into what we want. So I'm asking, can she even dare to dream? Yes, that's huge. Are you able to dream and make it loud? No. You play it out and you wait for the timing so that you'll learn how to be patient. And sometimes it could be 6 months just to get one thing. Not that she's manipulating, but she's waiting. She's learned to wait. So like how you got the dominancy of birds, it'll be the little bird that was forced to wait. And if there's any food left over, they'll get it. But if there's not, you don't get any. So I'm watching her body. And there's a firm belief that I will be discouraged. I will be attacked. I will be. So there's her will is saying, I've had a lot of experience. I know. So what I'm going to have you do at this point is that I want you to hold right wrist, first position soft. Okay, R1S. Okay. And we're going to feel how you can't use your will. You can feel that limitation. You can feel that restriction. You can feel how you're supposed to remain helpless. Don't get up. You know better. Keep your ass on the effing floor. Don't get up if you're smart. Those words might have actually been said. She can feel it. She can feel how there's like a weight, an anvil or a hand pressing on her, or a shoe on her head. Don't. So she had learned to memorize herself as being helpless. Not that she's helpless, but she had to survive. She's had to memorize herself as helpless. And on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being the strongest, what number is it?
About an 8.
Okay, so we're just going to sit with this because, again, we have to do it with grace and ease. She has had to learn to survive. But this helps by what she's doing, focusing on that. Is it in the body? You can feel that sensation, yes?
Yeah.
And is it on your body or on your head? Is it inside or out?
Oh, I just feel pain in my lower back right now.
Okay, so your body
So
is saying,
pressure. Yeah.
okay, see, and it started acting up when I started touching the right area.
Right before you told me
Notice
to. Yeah.
my voice is starting to disappear too. So this is where, okay, so we will self-sabotage just to keep ourselves alive. We're not asking her, we're not ripping it off, we're just listening to how much the soul and the innate wisdom can work together with crystal. These parts. Breathe in, and we're going to breathe out, and she's just going to feel, how does she know that 8? Did she feel like it's coming at her? Did she feel like it's sitting on her? Does she feel that she knows it's like a brick wall? We're going to look at the descriptors. She's getting there. Because each one of those is like super real. That's okay. Okay, we're respecting all the ages because there's not just one. There's a handful. Well, actually more than a handful. But it's okay. We're going to help. Here she goes. Now, this is how Crystal's learning how to hold space for her littles. Most people don't know how to hold space for themselves, but she's doing it right now with the innate wisdom. It is part of holding on the energy about your frontal lobe. And this is a healthy way of supporting yourself. Now, she can feel, now what's interesting is I'm watching the energy and I feel all of a sudden very rigid. Like it's not just in the back, because all of a sudden, and just breathe. If the body is acting out and letting you know, just breathe it in and out and let it flow.
And that's one thing I forget to always breathe,
So I was just going to ask, she says she holds her breath. She just told us.
I didn't know that until my therapist a long time ago told me. I'm like, you're crazy. What the hell are you talking about? Then I notice now.
Yeah.
I don't breathe, right?
Exactly. So she's learned to be very super quiet, because even her breath probably would have annoyed somebody. I don't want to be seen. Her body is saying, I don't want to be seen. Now, I know it sounds strange because it seems like the bigger you are, you're like, well, you're going to be seen like a sore thumb. Not necessarily. It is to hide in the woodwork. The body will swell up. Its little fat cells will swell up to protect you from these energies. Okay?
Yeah.
But it's also about being frozen, paralyzed, hiding. That's okay. But we're just taking, and there you go. You just shifted something just a little bit. What is it, still an 8? What is it now?
No, it's down now. Yeah.
Okay, it's still there though.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, make sure you're holding right wrist first position. Okay. Just sit there a little bit. Now, this is about learned helplessness. This is when you think about it, how much shit came into your space that said, don't get up. And then all of a sudden you feel helpless. This is like when you watch these extreme things that happen to people when people are chained up and they get starved to death, and then until they do what is they're told. And then they'll give a little bit of food. They'll give a little bit of flattery. They'll give a little love. And then if you still say no, then you get abused. And it's to force you to be submissive, play it compliant. I had to say certain words because I needed her to know that it's okay because you're in the healing process. So she just allowed herself to open up a little bit of her. It's like I had to put this restriction up. She had to put the restriction up. Now she's addressing her fear. What number is that? I have to be fearful.
I'm not anymore.
No, but your littles are like, in order for me to survive,
Yeah,
I have to put this fear into me even further so I won't get hurt. And now we're going to address this part, a little bit of noticing that fear says we need to pull away from it, which is actually where fear can save you to get out of crappy relationships. Because your environment, your comfort zone is more fearful than the unknown. So you will force yourself out. And it's good, but it's not good because you still are using a negative energy, and it still controls you. So there she goes. All right, just a little bit more, a little bit more. And when you think about relationships and how I don't want to get in another relationship. Remember somebody wanted to marry you, they proposed, and you're like, oh no, because it was relationship. Because you're like, it smells like, looks like, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it must be a effing duck. Okay. So, but yet there's a party that wanted to believe, and because you want that love, but you also know what is your intention here. So she's getting wiser. She's getting wiser, saying no. And when you said no, did they keep trying? Did they keep trying?
no.
Good. Good. That means that people are getting the right message. Yeah, no, bye. Okay, how's your back? Because I noticed there was like it released just enough.
Yeah, my back.
I don't feel it here as much either. So what number would you say you feel like you're at right now?
I'm good now.
All right, you can take your hand down. How do you know? How do you know? You didn't, first of all, she didn't know what she's looking at. And then when she started looking at it, you recognized it was familiar, yes? And we were going to keep it safe. So I have to keep this fear. And then you started working with your innate. How do you know you're different from before?
It's the way I act, how I feel.
Did you hear that? She's like, it's the way I act. And you can feel your voice being different or your tone be different. Excellent, excellent. So this is part of your soul work. Because you understand it's the way you act, how you used to act, and how, when the healing happens, how do you act? We need to train the brain that would you say the way you're acting now is better than the way you acted then?
Yeah.
So she's going to say, yeah, look at me. I'm doing it. I'm acting this way. I'm acting.
I just feel more freer.
Yes. Okay. Not in desperation, but notice that I've done it.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, I'm proud of myself. Can you do that, or is that hard still?
No, I can do it.
Okay, good. Bring that more in your heart, honey. Bring that more in your heart. Excellent, excellent. I want you to put your finger in your belly button, in your forehead, push in, lift up, chin up, smile. Hey, she's wearing pink too. I just realized the color. That's healing color. All right, just bring that in. We're going to seal in the healing. And her heart and her head is like, oh, I feel happy. This is actually love, not karma love, but love. Good job. Okay, you can let go now. That looks good. Looks good. Now, the next time you begin to feel like you have to be in that learned, helplessness, or you can feel that people are using fear to move you, you can go and say, all right, I have a tool. Right wrist, first position soft. Yeah. I have a feeling that you could use it right in front of them and they wouldn't have a clue. Oh, you got a headache. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like they don't, whatever, I don't care. And but she's got something where she can disarm, and it's not about them. It's not that. It's like I don't have to put my energy into it. I'm holding my space. She can learn how to show up with herself a little bit more. And I think you've done it before where you've done something because all of a sudden they backed off. I see people like I can see grandkids or whoever it is, younger people that all of a sudden they kind of can't get past Crystal's brick wall. And you're not saying yes as much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And training them well. No, don't even bother asking. So the more
Well,
that she starts to feel that she's supposed to give in and be helpless, and she can sit there and hold it, and they're like, "Oh, Crystal, you got a headache? Yeah." She's holding and
oh,
she's healing, and she doesn't have to show up that way. All right. I love you very much.
okay.
Thank you for
Love
everything,
you
and
too.
job on healing, and we'll talk to you real soon. Okay.
Okay, love you too. Bye.
Bye. This is why I love what I do. We can see it, we can hear it, we can help change and you to be in a different space. You with me? Oh, good, good. And what did we learn from that one? Kind of paraphrase in your head. What did it feel like? Um, I'm looking for my list and oh, there it is. Had it all along. So we have Nikki. Are you still here? And we have Angela and Tamara. Is there anybody else that is for the duck race? Now remember, if you already come on, you cannot be in. All right, so roll call. Angela says she's here. And I think Nichole's still here. I see just a few minutes ago. Let's see. And then we're looking for Tamara. So Tamara, anybody else? Anybody else? You are welcome, Crystal. You are so welcome. And that delay is just so weird. I guess so. Yep, there's Tamara. So I have Tamara and we have Angela, and we're looking for Nichole. Is she here? What I'm going to do is we're not going to do the duck race because there's not a lot of people. So I'm just going to go ahead and Angela, is there anything particular you want? Tamara, if there's anything particular you want. And we're going to look and see, hopefully, Nichole. Yeah, she's here. So you three have got it. That's what we're going to go for. That's what we're going to go for. Yep, not seeing anything else. So that's what we're going to do. So Nichole, Angela, and Tamara. So Angela, anxious about tribal. Well, there's no reason to be. Notice like what give me a statement in your mind of why you have to be fear of coming tomorrow. And Angela has joined back up in tribal. She's already been there, but there is this, she hasn't been there in a while. So I feel like there's some insecurity. I said, what's this? I don't feel like I'm caught up or I'm deficient, I'm behind, or I'm, and so this is you going around in circles. Is that true? Okay. So we're going to have you hold R1D real quick. Okay. Just hold R1D. I will come back to you. Give me a number of how that's feeling, that anxious. Give me a number and then hold that and then I'll come back. Whatever spirit wants to share. Okay, so we're going to go to Tamara. So spirit wants Tamara to understand that you have a will. And some people will come along and use your will because you're not using it. That's what I just heard. Well, you're not using it. And this, okay, how do I explain this? Because this has to do with security. So if you had a friend that oh, they're so smart, let me go ask them. Or you still feel like you're a newbie in life or something like that, and you're gonna go, oh, and you're go to ask them, or they'll just give that advice, and you're like, yeah. So, but you don't realize you're being manipulated and controlled. You don't realize that they're pulling the puppet string because they said that they knew that you have insecurities. You're not using your will, so therefore, okay, does that make any sense? Because it's really strong in my face. Because if I need to clarify a little bit more, I will. Because what I've got here is that you seem to have somebody that has to be self-centered. And that person reminds you of, so if you do have this person, well, they remind you of who when you were growing up, because your heart's going, oh. But if you realize that there's a part of you that they remind you of somebody. Now, this is I'm going to stop just for a second on here reading. This is a very important thing to understand. We will start to do attraction factors. We will bring these people in that we've seen at youth. We love them because like they're our parents and our siblings, and they have a lot of bad traits. Now, what will happen is you'll go out, whether it's friends or lovers or whatever it is. Look at that 111. You all of a sudden you're looking and you're like, oh, I love them. I love them. And you will not see all of their bad traits, manipulation, all this, because you couldn't see it as a kid. That's part of your soul's growth. You're supposed to see the control dramas or the way they use words or the way to maneuver you, because 3D world back then was that was the latest rage. You know, I can hurt your pride. I can control you. I feel like you're a tie-dye, which means if you're a tie-dye sheet, you're going to have more heart and more compassion. Good night, hon. Okay? And if that's the case, then I want you to understand that this is false security you're getting from them. So you'll go to them and they give you security, but because you were taught that, you know, I know better or something, or I whatever. But if you know this, again, I want you to feel how do I have that in myself, or do I need to go to them for security? Do I have to second guess myself, and do I need them to have the pen to, if you can feel that, it's displaced loyalty, which means your energy is saying, I only feel secure when they're there, and I'm going to be loyal to them, but they're not necessarily loyal to you. So this is where you go right wrist, third position, soft. R3S, measure it, feel it, break that beautiful world that you're like, oh, everything's great, but yet why is this happening to me? And spirit is showing you, right? So she's at a 5. Angela says she's at a 5. They said that they want her to switch to right wrist, second position, soft, R2S, sit there, and then report back. And Nichole. So Nichole is going to get her piff. They're using the word non. I'm not obsessing. I'm not obsessing. Or non-obsession. What the heck's that? So you're obsessing, but you're not? Oh, so you can't see something. Okay, hold on. Rejection is the second or third word, which is like, are you not obsessing about how you're rejected, or are you not obsessing about what you're rejecting? Ooh. So recently you must have rejected something or someone or an idea, person, whatever, out of your world. I reject that. I don't like that. And your gut intuition says, oh, that's familiar. Yep. That's how we know we keep ourselves safe. Ah, thank you, Tammy. But here's the thing. There's a hidden story. They're saying what you need to understand is that it is a knee-jerk reaction, and your spirit wants to be more in charge of the ego's gut response. So you're starting to learn your intuitions, going from ego intuition into spirit intuition. So when you start to have that, I reject that out of my reality, and you have to take action and do something, or you are feeling rejected and you have to take action and do something, they said it sits in this particular regret stage, which is left wrist, second position, nice and deep, L to D. You with me so far, Nichole? Because what's happening is that the biggest thing that hurts you the most is betrayal. I says, what do you mean? They said, when they don't take your advice. But this is also a mirror. They get mad because you don't take their advice. Oh, so that's what it's about. She said, I blocked my mother and sister yesterday. Okay, so whatever the mirror, the two sides of it, whatever it is, it's like it's your story. We need to get you have to have a different choice point. So left wrist, first position, soft, L1S. Okay. And that be, I would say that is your fresh experience. It's the relationship energy, and you're like, because it's getting to you the most. Excellent, excellent. Well, we're gonna go back over and see how, like a half and a one, but feel relaxed now, heart not racing. Excellent. And what we're going to have you do then is we're going to have you use a magnet, and we're going to have you right side spleen. So on the right foot, follow the big toe. Oh, you're over here on this screen. And you go right there, past the bone, right there. And you're going to use your magnet, 24 times, 12 on each side, and then push in and rub 30, nice and deep. Because your body is saying that it has to keep doing this roller coaster, because there is an arrested development that you're starting to break up and saying, I don't want that to control my world. So anxiety is about the future. So it hasn't happened yet. So how would you know to have anxiety about the future? Is because of how you had defined it in the past. And it goes, when you get triggered, you throw it into the future and you walk right into it. And then you're stuck there. We want you to wake up from that so that you don't have to keep repeating. You are welcome. So she totally understands. That's from Nichole. And this had, okay, good, good. Measure that again. Does it really have to be a half or a one? And let me see if there's anything else. Notice, do I have to go there? Do I have to go there? So stay with me just for a moment. And when you have that anxiety, why would I need to do that? What would drive me to do that? So your soul work is about finding that statement. So when you looked, you felt overwhelmed. Do I need to be overwhelmed to take me to the next level of my anxiety? And that is no. So you're going to, when you catch it, you're going to go right wrist, second position, soft. Okay. But learning to catch it. It has been a fantabulous day. I pray we got everything that we've learned and we paraphrased, and you're looking, and we can all grow together. Let me just make sure that I have this. There we go. There we go. You are welcome. So tribal is tomorrow. Again, if you want to learn deeper and you want to do healings, it's come. Yeah, you have to pay, but you're worth the investment. Thank you. And you don't just learn, you have points about what would keep you in that stage, and we want you to move forward. We may talk about certain things tomorrow, or we may learn about a healing tool so that you can use it. Sometimes we do meditations, but I don't really think it's a meditation day, but we'll see what tomorrow will bring. Promise an hour, and it's been more than that. Now I'm doing a reset, so it does not so many hours. Your voice is important, but I have to learn how to be more of a teacher. Okay, I'm looking at everything. Looks good. Thank you all for coming and being there and supporting in each week. And our next show will be on Wednesday, Thursday. And I'm excited. So we'll see you there tomorrow, Angela. Glad to have you back. All right. So you just remember, do you have time? Oh, could, yes. Could, I could. Good. Hashtag, I can heal this. Hashtag, I can see this. Hashtag, thank you, Spirit. Hashtag, resolve to evolve. Hashtag. Okay, hashtag, heal instead of deal. To the point, hashtag, measure that, because you're at a 6 right now. And a lot of it has to do with towards yourself and how you need to protect yourself. And that goes to Nichole. You're already blessed. You're already whole. So stay blessed.